Okay, we're 1 minute late, according to my laptop, and we're officially 1 minute late, according to my desktop. Sorry. When you have the chance to see a character portrayed by Trey Parker dance to Michael Jackson music and Phil Collins music, you take it. Welcome to another edition of the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast, exclusively here on the Podcast Network. My name is Owen. This is Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
We got a ton to talk about tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
WWE content with Smackdown and 205 Live, as well as an edition of NXT. We've also got WCPW, UFC. I'm going to guess there's probably Bellator in that MMA talk as well.
Oh, Christ. So much. Thankfully, we haven't got too much to cover in terms of previews because apparently most of Americans don't want to wrestle on, I guess, 4th of July weekend, even though it's on a Tuesday.
Right.
But yeah, just quickly looking through what we've got to cover tonight. We've got the Ring of Honor TV taping stuff, as well as TV from last week because they decided to put it on for some odd reason. We've got your Impact stuff. We've got your NXT. You've got your Lucha Underground. We've got your Smackdown, your 205 Live, WCPW because they've got stuff coming up. New Japan as we build to that weekend. Also, we've got to talk about Slammiversary and what the hell is going on with that because I don't think we still have a full card yet.
No, probably not.
We've still got bits and pieces being added.
Very true.
Here and there. And all that shenanigans coming up. Right. Ground, the match that we'll be talking about a bit later. Let's roll into Smackdown first, I think.
Yep.
As we usually do. So, yeah. This was a thing. So, Daniels basically is talking about the Money in the Bank ladder match. Carmella and James come out, and Carmella says that, it's the land of injustice. Apparently, that's the new trend now. It's land of insert word here.
Oh, boy.
Thank God the Gorillas of Destiny are not in this tournament. Ah.
Oh, no.
or the Ball family.
Oh, really? No.
It's the land of beating that Nashville up.
Oh, boy.
She says she was unjustly stripped of the contract and won the match fair and square, and there's nothing about in the rules because the match is no DQ, so surely there aren't any rules. And she was the first person to have the briefcase in her hands, and it's not the first time that somebody's interfered to help out and whatever. And Daniels made his decision and asks the fans, and of course they want a match. And Ellsworth says, you're all the villains here. You're the ones controlling the stupid puppet. He's seen Brian take pleasure in upsetting his girl. You're just pathetic, Daniel. I used to look up to you. I used to see a man, but now you're just a gutless, spineless coward that hasn't got grapefruits to cut it in the ring, so made up some hokey injury. What's this? Why are we bringing the fucking grapefruit thing back, please? Enough. Daniel went, no, I should probably fire you, but instead, I'm going to ban you from ringside. Oh, sorry, no, last week he said he was going to ban him from ringside, and he's changed his mind. He's going to be banned from the entire arena and security drag him out. So then we get to the tag match. The Hype Bros versus the Usos. If the Hype Bros win, they get a title shot. Thank God the Usos won in a average match. It really wasn't that good. I don't know whether that's the Usos' fault or the Hype Bros' fault. Owen will blame the latter.
I blame Mojo.
So, New Day show up and Xavier says, we're so proud of you guys. You won a match. You didn't run away in the middle of it. And Big E is like, we want the gold, sucker. At Battleground, we're coming for you. I swear they only did that because of what happened the night before.
Probably.
Because Xavier was like, whoa. Hold on, brother. It's like, and the Usos are like, yeah, you don't deserve another shot because we've already beaten you. Go to your playpen and cry. We accept the challenge. And about New Day anymore, it's about day one-ish. I don't still get that stuff. Jimmy and Jey Uso are sounding like fucking retards. And I think it's going to be a detrimental effect in the long term. And of course, Kofi then starts to basically rap against them. We can see it in your eyes that you're getting little moody. That underdogs like Rudy, you draw as a booty. Because of this, we're having a battle rap next week. Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Ugh, that's horrible.
And now it's time for the Fashion Files. Yes.
Finally.
With the big boss man on the board, the picture. Because it's good cop, bad cop, you see. So I think they had a picture of like old school boss man as the good cop, and then like the bounty hunter style one, in the black's gear from 2000 as the bad cop.
Right.
Something like that. But so they got Victor and Connor, and they're interrogating him, and Victor says, we didn't do it. And Fandango's like, well, I believe you, but my partner don't. And then they got the drawing of the stick figures, and Connor's like, look, we didn't do it. I believe you as well. Perhaps if I give you some 2 Eddie Money tickets, because they're 2 tickets to paradise. And Connor's like, Victor's about to go, oh yeah. And Connor's like, man, we only listen to grindcore metal. So here comes Bad Cop Tyler. Shows off his water guns. And gives him an iced tea and a cheese platter. So it's like, wow, that's the Bad Cop. I don't think they've learned how to do this.
Probably not.
And Connor says, look, we didn't do it. We just wanted a match on the pay-per-view. And Tyler's like, man, this is tough. You're good cop and I'm good cop as well. So then they go back to their office and it's been trashed. And they're trying to work out who it is, because obviously it can't be Ascension. And Ascension nicked the Eddie Money tickets.
Well, yeah.
Oh, my God. So Naomi versus Lana. So Lana attacks Naomi during the introductions, before the match even starts, but then it does. Lana splashes her in the corner, sit out spine buster, kicks out. Naomi just does a round kick to the head, split-legged moonsault, and that's over. Literally, it's done in about 2 minutes.
Is there a point to this?
I hope that's a rhetorical question. So then Becky Lynch is in the interview area being asked about tonight and everything and getting to face Naomi. She wins. And Becky says, I was inches away from grabbing that briefcase and inches away from proving you can walk your own path and be successful. Ellsworth took it away from her, but Daniel did the right thing to allow her to become the first legitimate Money in the Bank winner. So Aiden English is singing, except he's interrupted by Randy Orton's music as they go to commercial. And we're back. And Randy Orton's alone in the ring because during the commercial break, he RKO'd English. Okay. So Randy says, look, I'm not leaving the ring until I get what I want. And they recap, him beating up Jinder and the Sings last week. But that pales into comparison as to what he's going to do if he doesn't get what he wants. And that's a title match. Why should he get a rematch? If he doesn't get it, he'll find him and beat the shit out of him. After the show, he'll beat the shit out of him in the parking lot. Then it might be tomorrow when he beats the shit out of him just in the gym. If not this week, perhaps next week, in whatever city they're in. Glad to see he doesn't know. Tickets are still available, probably, because it's 4th of July. Why the fuck would you go out on the 4th of July?
It's true.
And Randy's like, well, he ain't here, so it's time for me to beat some ass. And here comes Shane. And Shane says, look, we go back a long time. And we're live in San Diego, and I can't have you threatening the safety of the champ. And Randy's like, okay, then, fire me. I'm already fired. Fire me. I'm already fired.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, sorry, stop. Flair. Now, I'll buy a ticket in every building and risk being arrested because Jinder disrespected me in front of the family. Do the easy thing. Give me a match. Or I'll do the hard thing. And Shane just says, well, the Sings did cross the line at Money in the Bank, but I've seen you do similar things in the past, including to me. But I've never seen that look in your eye before. I understand the situation. You got your rematch. It'll be at Battleground. But the champ has to decide on the stipulation. So here comes Jinder on the stage. This is exactly what's wrong with Smackdown and Mandarin, Jinder says. This is what's wrong with everybody. Then he starts yelling in Punjabi, not sure what it is. You support a snake like him? He doesn't deserve a title match. And due to all the prejudice and bias against me, I'm going to announce a match made by a giant among men, my hero, the great Khali. Battleground is fitting a name for a pay-per-view because it's going to be a Punjabi prison match. Fuck! Oh.
It's very bizarre, to say the least.
I just want this to be fucking terrible and everybody to rip it to fucking shreds.
I'm sure you're not going to have a problem with that.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait for July 16th now. Holy shit. So Daniel's on the phone about the Punjabi prison. It's probably secretly going, why the fuck are they doing that?
That's very true.
And AJ comes in and asks about the open challenge and whether he should be the first one to show up. And Kevin comes in and it's just like an American to complain behind my back. The challenge is for people who have never beaten me. You're a loser, AJ. And AJ's just like, well, You asked the US title what Ron Burgundy thinks of San Diego. And walks off, and Owens is like, hang on, what does that mean? And Daniel says, look, it's an open challenge. Cena had his open challenge. So next week, we're going to be having an Independence Day Battle Royal, and the winner faces Kevin at Battlegrounds. And AJ's like, am I in the match? And Daniel's like, yep. That's it. And now it's time for Mike and Maria. Yeah. Maria introduces herself. Mike introduces himself, only to be interrupted by Sami Zayn. Spoilers, that's the last you fucking see of Mike and Maria. What is this shit? Because we really want to see Sami Zayn versus Baron Corbin fucking again.
Nope, no, we don't. I'm not even going to put that over.
Baron wins with ends of days. It's an okay match, in all honesty. But it's just, why do we have to keep seeing it? Afterwards, Nakamura is being asked backstage watching, apparently, the match. And he's asked about whether he wants to fight Baron. And Nakamura says, well, Corbin's dangerous. But Baron fears what I can do. Maybe it is right that Corbin is afraid. And then we get to the Money in the Bank ladder match, which was damn good. Damn good. The one thing I will say is there was still shenanigans because Ellsworth managed to show up at ringside and basically take Carmella or push Carmella into the ring from what I remember, because basically she fell from the ladder earlier and was also recovering from a sharpshooter. So I had to crawl to the outside. So she took Carmella in. So yeah, Ellsworth then starts climbing up the ladder and whatever. They're trying to do the same finish, but Becky kicks Carmella, knocks Ellsworth off the ladder, and he basically straddles the ropes. So Becky climbs up, only for Carmella to pull her off. Becky in the fall appears to have tweaked a knee. Goes climbing up again. Carmella grabs a chair, smacks it in Becky's leg, climbs the ladder, and gets the briefcase herself. Why the fuck didn't we do that 2 weeks ago?
Well, the wrong person went over, but I mean, at least she did it on her own. There was still Ellsworth interference, but I think that was if you'd have had that on the pay-per-view, I think that would have been a really good show. The fact that opened it with the shitty finish, and the fact that if you think about it, one, we've got the same result, and two, the Naomi Lana match was better at the pay-per-view. So why the fuck did we do it again when we could have just had the Money in the Bank from last night 2 weeks ago? Or last week, whatever. And just have it like that. Rather than have the whole debacle over Triple H being criticised for saying we don't know whether James Ellsworth's got testicles. Hello, glad. Anyway. We now move into 205 Live territory. And Jack Gallagher's in the back being asked about his loss to Tony Nese. And he's like, I won't let my gentlemanly manners get in the way. I let the scoundrel take advantage of me. So I won't let my guard down tonight against the Brian Kendrick. So Gallagher's in the ring, and then Kendrick comes out dressed like Jack, which I will say is sort of weird, uncanny valley for a bit.
You look, if I look like this every day, Kendrick goes, I wouldn't even look at myself. You're nothing but a caricature, Gallagher, that's grown stale. You're a joke and an embarrassment. You don't realise that you're a laughing stock. England's one big embarrassment. You're no James Bond. You're no Kingsman. Hey, somebody recognises that fucking franchise exists. Thanks, writers. You're a pint-sized version of William Regal. And I'm not laughing. Hang on. He's a pint-sized version of William Regal, you say? No, that's a glow advert. Thanks, YouTube, you fuckers. Yes. So Jack Gallagher's wrestling. This is his new music, I think.
And I'm okay
taking
with
on
this.
Kendrick. Yeah, taking on Kendrick. Not too bad a match. So yeah, basically Kendrick. The finish came with Kendrick hitting Gallagher with the umbrella, so DQ and everything. Which is weird because it's not like Gallagher was going to win at any point, really. It was sort of back and forth between them. And then Kendrick just sort of hit him with a back body drop and an elbow. And then just grabbed the umbrella and went and smacked him. And then afterwards continued to beat the shit out of him with the umbrella. I bet you can't buy William III on eBay for $2,000. Wink! So Gulak's in the back, asking about his match against Mustafa Ali coming up. But they show what happened last week when Ali beat him, and Gulak says, they just showed the one time that Ali got lucky. And that clip proves the message behind the no-fly zone. Could Mustafa Ali beat me with some flashy move? I may have lost the match, but it allows me to tell everybody, safe and sound, feet on the ground. And so Ali shows up and says, why do you despise all these show-offs? What's there to hate about exciting high-flying moves? Or is it high-flying that's something that Gulak can't do? And in my head, I'm going, if only this wasn't fucking storyline, son. If only. They have a good match. Really interesting because Ali's doing flippy shit, but he isn't doing the sort of aerial stuff off the top ropes. The great bit is like, Ali I think goes for a Frankensteiner from what I remember, but Gulak pushes him off the turnbuckle, and then it's like, okay, let's do something. So he climbs to the middle turnbuckle, and then tentatively climbs up to the top, goes for the Superfly splash, misses. Ali gives him a crucifix pin, and Ali wins again. Of course, Gulak will probably use it as, I was foolish for using the flippy shit or the no-fly zone tactics. Because it's proof that wrestling on the ground wins you matches. Who knows? And they're talking about Neville being distracted by Titus O'Neil. LOL! So now we got Dar and Daivari in the locker room, and Gnome's apologising to Daivari after last week and says, look, it's all a misunderstanding. It was all Cedric's fault. I'll pay you back. And Daivari's just like, $15,000 means nothing to me. I would not waste my time to bend over and pick it up if it dropped on the floor. The irony is, that's how much he gets paid probably in about 3 months. I think he fucking would. And Dar's like, well, I'm happy I don't have to pay you because I'm broke after everything with Alicia. And she calls Noam up and takes the call, but Daivari hangs up for her. Then like, I don't want your money, but you still owe me. And Daivari smashes up Noam Dar's phone. Daivari is a fucking face. Yes. So it's Cedric versus Daivari. Pretty good match. Daivari actually gets the win with I think it's a hammerlock short arm clothesline.
Yeah, he's been using that lately.
Yeah. But then afterwards, Dar, who I guess was watching from ringside, attacks Cedric, kicked him and everything, and gets on the mic and says, I know Alicia's recovering, and I'd love to be on FaceTime with her, but Cedric's chapter is over. I've defended her honor and make her move on. That's how you fucking end the storyline?
Yep.
Jesus. Ugh. Oh. So here comes Neville and says, in 2 weeks, at Great Balls of Fire, I'll defend the Cruiserweight title against the so-called challenger. And, you know, the individual is someone who's been misguided and misled. He doesn't appreciate the gravity of the situation he's found himself in. You know, the delusional universe thinks that he's got a snowball's chance in hell of beating him. And the man he speaks of course, is Tozawa. I'm not dealing with a white noise known as Titus, a little lamb being led to the slaughter. If you like to give lessons to Zawa, the king of the cruiserweights likes to give warnings. And tells Tozawa, don't show up, because if you do, you'll be slapped in the face with a cold, harsh realization that you don't belong in with me. And you don't belong on the Neville level either. Ask anyone who's been there before. You will get hurt. So here comes Tozawa. Neville's like, oh, flavor of the month. Brilliant. Yeah, what do you want? And Tozawa's just like, ha, ha, ha. Do you? And Neville's like, you understand me, don't you? And Tozawa's just ha 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 at him. And Neville's like, stop doing that. And he doesn't. And eventually he just gives him a nice little stiff set of kicks. Neville goes to the floor. Tozawa's still going, ha, ha. And that's it. So some weird shit, some not weird shit, some good shit, some stuff. All that stuff. Are you fucking kidding me? The president of the Lakers said LeVar Ball did a terrific job. Is that person a fucking idiot? Anyway, that's the WWE.
That's the WWE for tonight.
Yeah, I was getting distracted by something playing in the headphones. Pyro! Woo!
Yep. The end is near.
So what's next? I never remember.
Well, considering the fact that this Sunday we got ourselves a pay-per-view, let's talk a little Impact Wrestling.
Oh, that's what's next. I need to bring up Slammiversary 15's Wikipedia page as to whether we've actually got any updates to that. Oh no, we haven't. So this will be interesting. This technically is, I guess, us reacting to the last taping stuff that we can before the show, because obviously, because Impact's Thursdays, we won't be covering that until after the pay per view. So there could be some awkward shit on that. So it starts up with Sienna and Laurel backstage, trying to focus on the match. Now, Rosemary's nobody's friend, so Ali's going to be on her own, so we need to be focused. So we're starting off with the Sony 6-way X Division Trophy Elimination match. Because reasons. So it's Trevor Lee, Davey Richards, Suicide, Braxton Sutter, Eddie Edwards, and Matt Sydal. Again, reasons. First to go is Braxton Sutter, rolled up by Trevor Lee with a handful of tights. Next to go is Suicide, with a leaping double stomp from Trevor Lee again. So that's 2 in a row. So then Davey gets eliminated. Thanks to grabbing a chair and throwing it in Eddie's face as he came through the ropes for a dive to the outside. So Davey got taken out. Of course, what follows on from this is what leads to Eddie going out. So basically, Davey puts Eddie in a chair at ringside, goes to try and charge in and crack a chair over Eddie's head, but Eddie smacks him instead, gives him a fisherman's buster. And apparently, because of that, he gets disqualified as well. Really? And then once we're back from commercial, it's pretty good. Sydal and Trevor Lee one-on-one, which is sort you'd expect. Trevor goes for God's last gift. Sydal escapes, kicks Trevor in the face, gives him the shooting star press, and gets the win. And the bloody Indian and the execs come out to go, yay! And they're going, who the fuck is this guy? So Rockstar Spud's walking the streets of Mumbai, finds Swoggle eating with Indian people. They're about to fight when some Indian midget bloody breaks them up. That's a thing! Fucking hell. Ali's standing around talking to herself, hoping that Rosemary will actually show up and she won't be left alone. Now it's time for more bloody Park and Borash. And, Park isn't feeling positive about their chances. Even when Borash is like, come on, I'll put a pizza in the oven. And Borash is like, I'm a fighter. And it's the same way we didn't just take it when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor.
When did the Germans bomb Pearl Harbor, Owen?
I don't think that happened.
And just like the company didn't crumble when they made Josh Matthews the lead announcer, they're going to fight and win at Slammiversary. So then we get Sienna and Laurel versus Ali and Rosemary. Except it starts off 2-1 because Rosemary doesn't come out, but then Rosemary shows up from under the ring and attacks them both. But of course, bloody KM and his kendo stick show up. Braxton Sutter then neutralizes him, but that's enough to distract Rosemary to Sienna to hit her with the German suplex. And then Laurel hits a leaping curb stomp, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, it's basically the blackout.
Yeah, the blackout. And Sienna makes the cover and Sienna wins. Apparently, that's the first time Rosemary's ever been pinned in Impact.
That is correct.
Rosemary and Sienna at Slammiversary to unify the titles. Oh, we'll get to that fucking mess. So Borash is now in the ring introducing Shearer and Dutt, who get the bloody Jinder Mahal dancing troupe. And Sanjay thanks all the fans for being a part of him winning his first title in the X Division. And promises to be the greatest X Division champ that's ever lived. And Ma Bali's just there staring, like smiling, like, yes. Mm-hmm. So Loki comes out to congratulate him, and he's not one for excuses. But I think Sanjay had a little more than luck on his side. But luck or not, Sanjay got the win. Congratulations. The belt belongs around your waist. Oh, sorry, the belt. I think the belt belongs around my waist. So since I gave you a match upon request, I think it's only fair that you do the same to me. And Sanjay goes, yeah, that's fair. We'll do it at the Slammiversary, and we'll make it 2 out of 3 falls. Now, I know how good you are, Loki. So why not do it on the 15th anniversary of the company that we both helped pioneer? And they shake hands, but Loki sucker punches Sanjay, lay Shearer out. Loki is face. Loki is face.
Yep.
Goes back to beating Sanjay up, and Loki hits the Warrior's Way on Shearer. He's super face. Loki goes to give a one to Sanjay Dutt, but Matt Sydal makes the save. Because reasons. Shearer's in the ring still, recovering. Only for him to actually be in a match next with Kevin Matthews. So KM just basically gets in the ring, covers Shearer. 1, 2, oh shit, Shearer kicked out. And, he sort of goes after him, but basically, he goes for a Stinger sort of splash, slingshot splash style. Shearer dodges it, but what's the Sky High finisher again?
Hanging, the riding bomb or the hanging tree slam.
Yeah. Shearer decided to do it so badly that Kevin basically landed on his arse and almost basically folded forward over Shearer. Thankfully, it sort of he fixed it, but Shearer botched fucking badly. Badly. Shearer won. Here comes Congo Kong. And gives him a pump handle slam. Face. Kong gives him a top rope splash. Face.
Yep.
Is Shearer dead? Yes. Face. So then we get the Rocky montage video for Borash and Park training. Culminating in bloody Joseph Park giving a cannonball into a swimming pool on Borash. Okay. So then Eli Drake and Adonis come out, run Moose down for sticking his nose into their business. They'd really hate it if Moose picked Bruce Pritchard as his partner, since they're such great buddies. We want to find out. We want to look you in the eye. Except he gets interrupted by Moose, and Moose says, "Look, I don't have a partner in the locker room because my partner is D'Angelo Williams from the NFL." And they show a package of, the video package of D'Angelo preparing. We cut straight back. Moose is being beaten the shit out of. Because they basically cut midway through. as well. That's a bit different. So now it's time for Lashley and E Sing 3, because that's what he's going by at the minute, against Storm and Alberto. Which, I mean, it was convoluted as shit. So, yeah, bloody EC3 decides to get a strap and strap the referee, leading to a second referee coming out and causing the DQ. And Storm and EC3 are fighting each other. Alberto and Lashley are fighting each other. Lashley runs. Alberto poses with both belts. And thank God that wasn't the go-home show, because there wasn't anything real good. There was decent promo bits, like the X Division stuff. But the rest of the show sort of was, I don't know, it felt like a crappy go-home show, really. So that leads us into Slammiversary and this confusing shit. So the card as it currently stands, the most confusing one is the tag title situation, because there isn't one, really. Because we know the LAX are defending, and we know one of their opponents is AAA's Drago and El Hijo de Fantasma, which is interesting, because then that means, you know, people in AAA might be ordering Drago and El Hijo de Fantasma to Bruiser Brody Conan, shall we say? Probably.
Oh boy.
That could get interesting. But the thing is, we don't know the other two teams.
Nope.
They haven't named them. They might be naming them on the television tomorrow. Hopefully they do.
Perhaps.
So we got the 2 out of 3 falls match for the X Division titles. We've done low key. We got the Full Metal Mayhem match with the Edwards versus the Richards, which I'm not looking forward. Wow. Yeah, I think there's going to be such stupid shenanigans there because of the whole husband and wife situation that's going to be bad, even though it shouldn't be, because it's Edwards and Richards. But it's just... Then D'Angelo Williams and Moose versus Adonis and Drake. No. Rosemary and Sienna. That one I'm excited for.
It's going to be really good.
EC3 and James Storm in a strap match. As long as they do a strap match right, that should be good. The co-main of Borash and Park versus Matthews and Steiner. I have no fucking clue why this is being put on a Slammiversary show. And then Alberto, the GFW champ, with his dad, Dos Caras, in his corner, taking on Lashley with King Mo in his fucking corner.
So much Bellator.
You methinks they want to be on fucking Spike, don't they?
I'd say so.
Especially considering that really Jeff and Karen were at the Bellator pay-per-view. They're fucking desperate. In related news, I guess it's my last plea to ask, where's my fucking gold, Jeff? Because as of, I think, yesterday or today, I'm not sure, Global Force Wrestling got bought out by Impact.
Oh boy.
So yeah. Fucking. Oh. I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm just very fucking disappointed. Yeah, Anthem's acquired Global Force Wrestling, which means that Jeff Jarrett will now be joining Anthem as part of the managers, the equity owner and chief creative officer. So wait, you actually apparently gave Jeff Jarrett money? This,
you know what happens normally when he gets money? He takes what's given to him,
and then if there's anything else, like a company, it dies in 2 years. So good job, Impact. I guess you never learned the first time. Also, Impact have announced that next Wednesday is Impact Wrestling Day. I would say no, it fucking isn't. Everybody's going to be in Hot Topic. Apparently, the mayor of Orlando is going to be special ring announcer for 2 of the matches that are being taped on that Wednesday.
I called that.
Is that the bloody guest?
No.
Okay, it's something else.
The
It seems shit enough that might actually be the guest, though. That's the thing.
guest is supposed to be Shaq.
Oh yeah, because that's a big thing. I guess it makes sense to Spike. Is Spike TBS?
Is Spike TBS?
Or is it part of the TBS brand of channels or not?
I know. TBS is just TBS and TNT as far as I know. Well, TCM's in there too. But yeah, no, Spike is definitely not part of.
And in related news, one guy you won't be seeing on Impact very soon is Bram. Because over the weekend, apparently he got fucked up. The only way we know this is because we got word from Magnus. Basically saying that Bram got badly injured and was undergoing surgery. I don't think do we know the details about this?
No, I can't find anything.
Supposedly this happened in a match in Rome, Italy. Nobody has a fucking clue. Because Magnus said he'd let Bram go into specifics sort of on his social media as to what happened and that the surgery went fine. He's in good spirits, shaken up because it was a nasty injury. So it's like, okay.
All I can say, it was a match against Jimmy Havoc.
The WWE guy fucking up the competition. Oh, Havoc, you sneaky bastard. Oh, shit. Wow. So that's a thing. In sort of related news, I guess, as well to Impact, Mike Bennett was on Edge and Christian's podcast and revealed that it was Kevin Owens that urged him and Maria not to re-sign with Impact Wrestling when they were about to. Kevin is the savior of the world.
Well, yeah. Of course.
So yeah, I think that's everything Impact Wrestling related that we've got to cover news-wise and everything.
That is correct. Lucha Underground time.
Oh, right. So, hang on. I need to prepare for this one. Oh yeah, Lucha Underground stealing other people's shit because the episode's stuck with Macho Madness. Oh yeah. Come up with original shit, Lucha. Come on. So we're starting off backstage. Mill and Katrina there, and Katrina's going, yeah, I want you to bring me the Cueto Cup. Do it for me, my lover. And Mill goes, I will destroy the competition for you. And they smooch and get romantic. And then we cut to, I guess, some other darkened area somewhere in the building. And Jeremiah Crane is preparing. If you can't remember back 15 years to when this was last featured, Jeremiah, I guess, has history with Katrina. Romantic history. And supposedly she likes him as well. And doesn't actually like Mill. Because reasons. Maybe. So, first round, the Cueto Cup, we've got Veneno, who may or may not be Cortez Castro. Yeah, see if you can remember that shit. Oh, wait, you can't. Taking on Mil Muertes. Pretty done in a few minutes. Flatliner is enough to give Mil the win. Then after the break, we get Paul London versus Vibora, a.k.a. the Luchasaurus. So London decides early on, because he realizes, oh shit, I'm up against this guy, to grab the carrot off his top hat, grab Cobra Moon and sort of threaten her as if he's got like a gun to her head, except with a carrot. Okay. He uses it and it, gets taken up. It gets taken out or whatever, and Vibora's just like menacing and sort of being lizard-like because he is the Luchasaurus. The great thing is, I will admit, the crowd were actually pretty good on this one because they were like, save the carrot. Save the carrot. Like, okay, that's fair. So then the other two of the Rabbit Tribe show up and just like randomly go about the ring and crawl underneath the ring. So then Paul manages to somehow tip Vibora out to the outside. And Paul London, being Paul London, decides to go for, I think, a diving, basically senton. Yeah, the idea is that he, I guess, sort of lands on Vibora's shoulder and his shoulders fall to the floor. That is a senton, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Senton splash, I guess.
Seated senton.
Yeah. London went over Vibora's head. And it looked like he fucked himself up badly. In a very bad way. Thank God the match finish was coming pretty quickly. So London, despite basically killing himself, somehow manages to crawl back into the ring before 10. Vibora tries to, but the other two guys of the Rabbit Tribe hold his legs from underneath the apron, and London wins. London's reward for this is taking on Mil Muertes.
Bye, Paul.
So then after ads, we've got another first round match. It's Taya versus Joey Ryan. Not too bad. Again, sort of short though. Taya getting the win with sort of the cradle pin, like holding the legs, sort of thing. Folded up, whatever. You know, like how Mysterio does it when he goes for the
Diving
super
Rana?
on. Well, it was just a pinfall, from what I remember. It wasn't really the diving Rana. It was sort of like the pin was in that position. But yeah, Taya wins. And this is all done within about the first half hour. We've only got one match left, and I'm going, really? Then I didn't see what was coming next. So backstage, Mills getting dressed backstage because, you know, he's going out on the town, I guess, with his girl, Katrina, because of a quick win, you know, easy win. He's in his suit and is just leaving the locker room when bang! Here comes Sammy attacking him. And you know, smacks him with a chair in the head. Because, you know, that's what you can do in Lucha. And Crane just goes, "She's mine." And he folds the chair over. He folds the chair into a seated position and puts it over Mill's head. But the thing is, the chair, you can tell from where it is, there is no sort of arm bar between the legs. So it's not really sort of like choking him out or anything. Sammy comes with another chair and concerto style smacks it. And of course they do a whole noise as if, oh, look, he's broken his neck. But there wasn't a bar on the chair for it to break the neck with. So that doesn't make sense. If anything, it would have deafened him because of the smack of the bloody chairs. That was it. Who knows? Now it's time for some Aussie guy to keep talking about the fucking Rey Mysterio versus Johnny Mundo match. Because we need to keep doing this. We get opinions from a lot of fucking people. Such as Prince Puma and Cage and Striker and Chavo and all them. Because we need to build hype to this. Because it's coming in fucking 7 weeks or something. Why are we keep building this match every fucking week? Build it up when we get close to the time when it's actually going to fucking happen. Which, spoilers, is at least I'd have thought 3 or 4 weeks away at least. If not 6 or 7. Because it must be close towards the end, because obviously it's got ramifications for what happens at Ultima Lucha. Because whoever wins this Cueto Cup goes to the Ultima Lucha to challenge whoever the champ is. But it's got to be late on, I'd have thought. Or relatively late on. Remember, we've still got, I think, like 15 or 16 episodes left, I think.
I believe so.
I don't know what episode this technically is in the order, whether it's like 23 or 24 or 22. I don't even know. Thinking about it, must be 23 because of the Cueto Cup thing. Because 20, I think, no, it might be 24 because we've had 3 rounds of the Cueto Cup. And I think 20 was the all night long match. From what I remember. So, yeah, that literally takes a whole segment. And I'm like, Why the fuck is that happening? Ugh. So then we get to Jeremiah Crane versus Killshot. Yes, this is Sammy Callahan versus Shane Strickland. Yes, this was actually bloody good. Thank God. It was real good back and forth stuff. Although I will say, from what I remember, Sammy did a cannonball onto Shane because fuck it, I'm not using their lucha names, I guess. Crane went for a cannonball on Killshot. But when they did the sound effect, it sounded like a wall getting knocked down. So I'm a bit confused. But it was still a good match. Really good spots from each of them. Finish comes with Killshot hitting the kill shot, but Crane managing to kick out. And then as he's about to do something else, Dante Fox shows up and says, well, I'm not finished with you yet, Killshot. We've still got some to go, and that allows Crane to hit, I think, his finisher, which I want to say is the stretch muffler, but it wasn't, because it wasn't a submission this time round. I can't remember what he calls it in Lucha. And Crane wins. Still very good match. Then apparently there's a power cut for a few seconds, and appearing at the top of the stairs is Katrina. And she looks on with her stone. Crane blows a kiss to her. And apparently them fucking bagel company is getting recognized again in the credits. But wait, there's more. Because Dario in his office is like, this cup has been amazing, but now we've got the Group D bracket, the group of death, practically, because think of all the craziness that we're going to be having. Yeah, we've got PJ versus Sexy Star. We've got Prince Puma versus Ricky Mandel. We got Dante Fox versus Dragon Azteca Jr. And then we have you, my friend, and we go to this person and we can't see who it is. With a Skyu's voice, like, but who am I facing? And he goes, well, the only person that's left is Son of Havoc. So you'll be taking on him. And he asked this guy for his name. And he goes,
I'm Son of Madness.
and it's like, so when Melissa introduces you, where should she say that you're from? And he just goes, from the open road. And Dario looks at him and realizes, oh shit. It's fucking Johnny Goodtime in a mask! By the way, it actually is Johnny Goodtime in a mask. Because he's fallen on hard times. Because I remember when they were a staple of PWG and now they don't give a shit about it, seemingly. Sadly. So, that's Lucha for this week, I guess.
All right, so we're moving on from Lucha to WCPW.
Few little updates here and there for that. Not a huge amount. We've got a card fully set for this weekend because it's the German show in Berlin. So I don't know where the brackets are and everything. I think it's this order, so we'll see. It's going to be Bad Bones versus Pascal Spalter. Cash Money Erkan versus Crazy Sexy Mike. Damac, who replaced Axel Dieter Jr. because of his WWE signing. Damac will be facing Tarkan Aslan. And Juvenile X faces Lucky Kid. I don't know whether it'll be those in the brackets for the semi-finals. We'll have to see. The other matches, though, on the card, Alex Gracie, one-on-one with Kenny Williams. The internet title will be up for grabs as Gabriel Kidd defends against Joe Coffey. And Joe Hendry puts the WCPW title on the line against Primate. Then, with the Japanese leg, the following weekend, July 7th, no matches yet confirmed for that in terms of the brackets. We've still just got the names of Liger, Kushida, Desperado, Bushi, Taguchi, Tiger Mask, and Sho and Yo of the Tempura Boys, along with Kyle O'Reilly versus Marty Scurll and Rampage versus Tomohiro Ishii as bonus matches. Then July 21st, the Pro Wrestling World Cup USA qualifiers. Again, all we have is the list so far, which we already know is Bobby Fish, Ricochet, James Storm, Cody, David Starr, Jay Lethal, Matt Sydal, and Moose. But we have got some names now for the rest of the world qualifiers that I guess have been added in the past few days. Unsurprisingly, the first one is Travis Banks because of his exploits over the past few weeks, if you will. The second one's also good because it's Mark Davis. If you remember, either at the last show or the couple of shows before, Davis had like a standout match. And I was saying he better be in the rest of the world qualifiers. Well, because he's Australian, he qualifies. And then also from Hungary, we've got Icarus. No, not Shikara's one. God, there's going to be a lot of memeing in the chat if that ever happens. It gets shown live. There'll be people going, that isn't Icarus. Boo. And that will then lead into the finale in August. What happens with that? Again, nothing confirmed. So more names to be added, more stuff to be decided. I'm guessing we won't be talking about it next week because normally the shows don't get put up until the Friday on the YouTube. So I guess we'll cover the results if they leak, possibly. We can be bothered to next week. If not, we'll probably just, because they'll have a card then for the Japan one, I guess we could probably pick and choose through that as to who we can see going through, because we actually have knowledge of the Japanese scene. Thanks, New Japan. And that's the story for that one, anyway. Next up on the docket is...
Actually, we're going to be moving to UFC.
Oh, this crazy shit. So I'll go through some of the news first, and we'll blend it in because spoilers, there isn't any UFC or any MMA real stuff this coming weekend. There will be news next week to cover, but not a lot of. There's no stuff at all. We haven't got any Bellator, I'd say, of note until September. So,
oh wow.
Well, it shows every month, and there's nothing that incredible on the cards for July and August. Yeah. So UFC announced some of the fights for its Tuesday night contenders thing, which will be live on Fight Pass on the 11th of July. Basically, they're going to be bringing in stars and champs from regional promotions and getting them giving them the chance to shine, to impress Dana and get on the roster. So the 5 matches confirmed so far are Matt Bessette versus Kurt Holloway, El Gomez Alvarez versus Dan Aig, I think it's pronounced, Greg Rebello versus Azuna Amayawana, Charles Bird versus Justin Jones, and Joby Sanchez versus Manny Vasquez. I don't know what divisions, what sexes any of them are. I'm guessing it's all male because of the names, but who knows? There might be women called Joby and Manny. Who knows? So with Bellator, apparently one of the Brazilian reporters apparently looked like some hot actress. Sofia Vergara, is that her from Modern Family?
That is correct.
So because she looked like her, Chael Sonnen and Matt Mitrione were just like, sorry, what was the question? That was the most newsworthy thing, apparently. They did note as well that the scale that they used for the weigh-ins was the same scale that Ali and Frazier weighed in their Garden fight in 71. Because I guess that's a special thing. Really? Bellator's also said that Scott Coker, the boss of Bellator, basically doesn't know how the UFC can legally force their fighters to wear Reebok uniforms. Apparently that's the news or whatever. In terms of viewership, it got just under 1 million. In terms of viewers, the Bellator thing. So with the UFC stuff, it got interesting from the weigh-ins because since Hendricks moved weight, he went up to middleweight because of weight cutting issues. This is his second fight at middleweight. He missed the weight by I think like 3 pounds because he weighed in at 188. So I think that is like he's failed to make weight twice in his last 3, if not 4 fights. Little bit concerning. I would argue. In terms of the show, I'll start with the UFC stuff because that was somewhat minor. The Oklahoma show wasn't too bad from the reports that I've heard. I'll go through the full card for this one actually, for reasons. So on the Fight Pass prelims, we had Jeremy Kimball beat Josh Stansbury early in the first in the light heavyweights. The lightweight bout saw Tony Martin beat Johnny Kasich by unanimous decision, 29-28 across the board. And Jerry Gordon beat Michelle Quinones late on in the second round in a catchweight fight because I believe Quinones actually missed weight as well, I think. No, actually, Jerry Gordon, the guy that won, did. Okay, that's somewhat of an upset. Normally, the guy that misses cutting weight loses. Okay. Daryl Horcher. This is now on the Fox Sports 2 prelim stuff. So actually, the stuff that you don't have to pay for. Daryl Horcher beat Devin Powell in the lightweights via split decision. 29-28 for all three. So it was just, one gave it the other way. And the women's strawweights, Carla Esparza beat Manya Moros on unanimous decision, 2 29-28 and a 30-27. The middleweights, we have Marvin Vettori beat Victor Miranda, unanimous decision. This time it was flipped the other way around. We had 2 30-27s and 29-28 from the third judge. And then a unanimous decision as well with Clay Guiva beating Eric Koch. The really confusing thing is one judge gave it 30-26, the other gave it 29-26. The other gave it 29-28. So I guess if there were knockdowns, one of the judges was sleeping. Then with the main card, Dennis Silva beat BJ Penn. Majority decision. One of the judges gave it a 28-28 draw. The others gave it 29-28 and 29-27 to Silva. Tim Means beat Alex Garcia, unanimous decision, 29-28 across the board. Dominic Reyes, in his debut fight, beat Joachim Christensen. 30 seconds into the first round. So impressive for him. Then Felice Herrig beat Justin Kish via unanimous decision. One of the judges 29-27'd it. The other two gave it 30-26. If you want to know what was important about this fight, Justin Kish shit herself. And I wish I was joking. There was actually feces smeared on the fucking mat. She actually shit herself. That's a thing. I'm guessing they had to replace the mat after that or get some fucking good bloody disinfectant. Then Tim Botch beat Johnny Hendricks early on in the second with a good head kick and punches. And then the main event. On paper, it says Kevin Lee beat Michael Chiesa via technical submission with a rear naked choke. The thing is, if you look at Chiesa, he was fighting to get out of it, and he wasn't tapping, and the referee called it. So I don't know what the shit was going on there. So yeah, it was interesting. No fight of the night bonuses for anybody, but there were the performance of the night. So obviously that went to 4 people. The opening match on the Fight Pass, Jeremy Kimball, he got $50,000. Keep in mind, including his win bonus, because we know this because Oklahoma reports the actual payout to the fighters. Kimball made $24,000, including his win bonus. So he tripled his money pretty much with that $50,000 bonus. Also, Dominic Reyes in his debut, he tripled his money as well. He only got $24,000, so not bad for him. Tim Botch for his second round TKO. He added to his $154,000 with another 50, and then Kevin Lee doubled his money with a $44,000 win bonus to give him $88,000, and then got another 50 on top of that as well. So I guess he sort of tripled his money, I guess, by winning and then getting the performance of the night bonus. So yeah, that happened. So then we get to Bellator. Man, so the prelims on Bellator.com, there were 2 catchweight fights, so I guess people missed weight. Hugh McKenna beat John Salgado with a Kimura in the first round, and late on in the third, Matt Rizzo beat Sergio Da Silva with an arm triangle choke. Then we had lightweight action with Anthony Giacchino beating Jerome Mickle with a late third round rear naked choke submission. And also Bradley Dacia beat Nate Greb with a 3-minute just about knockout. And then main eventing the prelims, Ryan Couture beat Haim Ghazali, unanimous decision. 2 judges gave it 30-27, the other 30-26. So pretty easy win for Couture there. Then on the Spike TV card, Heather Hardy beat Alex Yauga with about 10 seconds to go in the match. So that late on in the third round. Then James Gallagher beat Shinzo Machida in the featherweights with a 2-0, basically midway through the first rear naked choke submission. And then Ryan Bader beat Phil Davis via split decision. 2 of the judges gave it 49-46 to Bader. The other gave it 47-48. on paper, I'd say it's probably fair that Bader won. Probably 48-47 to some extent. But so Bader's won. Afterwards in the interviews, Davis is saying that he won. Technically, at least in his thought. But who knows? So then with the main card, Douglas Lima beat Lorenz Larkin by unanimous decision for the to retain the welterweight championship. Again, I don't know what one of these judges is smoking, because two gave it 48-47, so it was a close fight. The other judge gave it 50-45. So apparently, one of the judges said Lima won every single round. The other two judges said he won 3-2. Who, I tell you, these Madison Square Garden judges must be on fucking smack, cocaine, ecstasy, amphetamines, Viagra. Do they still do like Jetsons bloody vitamins? Because they must be on them as well.
I know I grew up on Flintstones vitamins, but I don't recall there ever being Jetsons vitamins.
Okay, they must be Flintstones vitamins, but like not like new ones, actually ones from 30 years ago that have like gone off. Because I don't know what that judge was thinking, giving it legit just like he won every round. Because Larkin at least got one, if not two. So
he had liquid vitamins, if you know what I mean.
Who knows? Zach Freeman beat Aaron Pico with a 24-second guillotine choke. Yes, that quick, everybody. Brent Primus beat Michael Chandler via a doctor stoppage a couple of minutes in. This was weird. So Chandler, about a minute in, he couldn't stand up. It's like every time he went on, I can't remember which of his ankles it was, but every time he went onto it, it just collapsed. As if like there wasn't any bone, as if it just like was like the clean fracture that you've seen Silver have or some of the other guys have when it's really gone wrong. And basically like the legs hanging off. Except it was from the ankle this time, so it didn't look as bad. The crazy thing is, basically the doctor stopped it because it was like, I don't feel comfortable with his leg being like that. After Primus won, Chandler was like jumping up and down as if there was nothing wrong. So it was like, from what I remember as well, he still thinks he's another one that thought he'd won because basically it was only the doctors that stopped him, and he says he was perfectly fine, despite the fact if you look at the footage, Chandler's leg did not look right. So then we get to Matt Mitrione versus Fedor Emelianenko. This, I don't know whether people booed this because it only went 74 seconds. Because I guess they were expecting it to go longer, possibly. But the fact of the matter is, about a minute in, Fedor hits a punch. At the same time, Mitrione hits a punch. And both fucking floor each other. And it was only because Mitrione was the first to recover and kept pounding on Fedor. Basically, by the fourth or fifth punch, Fedor was basically just out for the count sort of thing. And it was called a KO then. We nearly had a double KO finish to this match. Because both did such good punches, they both went down together. This is like Godzilla and King Kong shit. This only happens in the movies. God damn it. So then, now this is interesting. The match between Nyman Gracie and Dave Marfone was originally supposed to be happening as a dark match prior to the main event. But because 3 of the 5 matches went only to the first round, they had so much time to fill, they actually put it on the pay-per-view. So Gracie in one of his first fights, I think. Took on Dave Marfone and won with a midway through the second round rear naked choke submission. Looked pretty good. Gracie's made a good showing of himself. And then the main event, only for 3 rounds, because they don't do UFC stuff here. They only do that for the titles. Chael Sonnen and Wanderlei Silva. Pretty good fight. Sonnen basically wiped the floor with Silva, interestingly. So much so that Sonnen won 30-27 on 2 judges' scores. The other gave 30-26. The really crazy thing, afterwards, Wanderlei Silva was like, the guy didn't respect me. But no, he beat the shit out of you. It's a bloody MMA card. He isn't going to go, oh, yeah, good job, son. Like, during the fight. The idea is that you're more powerful than the other guy. Hence why they win unanimous decision. Not like he's got to let me hit him. It's only fair. That ain't how it works, son. That ain't the rules. Oh. So overall, pretty fucking crazy.
Sounds like it.
Pretty fucking crazy shit going down. I don't think there's anything else. Hang on, let me see if there's anything that I didn't mention. Yeah, the Chandler thing. Yeah, apparently his foot isn't broken. He was saying on the MMA Hour on Monday. Also, Felice Herrig, aka the woman that didn't shit herself in that UFC fight. Apparently, she's not young enough or beautiful enough to be promoted hard by the UFC. So she's having a go at them. You know, is surprising because she actually does seem attractive. So who knows? Also, UFC's cancelling its August pay-per-view, mainly because it's running the week before McGregor Mayweather. And I guess they don't want to provide a distraction. In terms of the upcoming stuff for the UFC, because I did make a note of those shows, nothing this week. Next week is a double header with the Ultimate Fighter finale, followed by the 213 or 213 pay-per-view, I think it is. July the 11th is the Tuesday Dana thing. Then there's another show, July 16th. I don't know where that is. See if I can get that up. List of UFC events. I can actually bloody type it. Just so I can get where the venues are, in case you want to go and get tickets if they are still available. I can't really say that because Mike Gobog's on the other station. Oh, by the way, on the commentary wise, Mauro and Mike were pretty good in the commentary aspect and the desk hosting aspect that they did. So the show's coming up. July 16th show is going to be at the Hydro in Glasgow, Scotland. Then there's a Fox show so that everybody can watch that for free on July the 22nd from Uniondale, New York. The next pay-per-view after 213 in a couple of weeks is Cormier versus Jones Part 2 from Anaheim, California. Then the only show currently scheduled by the looks of it in August is the Mexico City show with Pettis and Moreno, main eventing that. Then September's pretty busy. The 2nd, they're in Rotterdam. The 9th is UFC 215 in Edmonton, Canada. The 16th may or may not be happening. Apparently, it's somewhere in America. And then 23rd will be in Saitama, Japan. And then October, we've got pay-per-view in Vegas, Gdansk, Poland for a fight night, another fight night in Brazil, this time in Sao Paulo, and UFC 217, November 4th at Madison Square Garden. And then also another show in America on the 11th of November, 2 shows in Asia apparently on the 19th and the 25th. I'm guessing they'll be announcing venues for that relatively soon because they normally try and do sort of a 3-month window. fill it up in terms of what's going on. And then the Ultimate Fighter 26 finale starting off December, and closing December will be the UFC 219 pay-per-view in Vegas, sandwiched by UFC 218 from Detroit, Michigan at the Little Caesars Arena. I think the first big sporting thing that'll be having, apart from basically Detroit Red Wings hockey, that'll be happening there, from what I can tell. The guy that's opening the thing is fucking Kid Rock. Really? You dumb fucks. Wow. Sorry, I'm disturbed by that. I'm guessing, though, in terms of the sports, that probably, apart from, as I say, the hockey or the basketball, that'll probably be the first UFC the first MMA or wrestling thing, because obviously it's coming up in the news, but I might as well mention it here. Joe Louis has just got Brock Lesnar for its Smackdown live show. I guess they're giving the Joe Louis Arena a better send-off than whatever the shit they did with... What was it? A below-par Smackdown, was it? Or was it a below-par Raw? Yeah, it was a shitty Raw, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I think. I can't even remember, even though it was like a month or so back. That's how memorable it was. But there you go. That's all the UFC stuff. Biden.
All right. NXT.
Man, this show. So we opened up with the Velveteen. Well, actually opened up with Nigel McGuinness introducing the show, because then they introduced Mora. It's not about me, it's about the wrestlers. Good job. And certainly him and Percy and Nigel actually had a pretty damn good chemistry, I would argue. Have you been able to catch any of it, Owen, or not? He disappeared.
No, I'm here.
Did you catch any of it?
I just got home.
That's a no then.
I didn't see anything.
Thank God I was actually watching it before we got into it.
I tried to watch it on the network, but it wasn't available yet.
Oh, wow. Normally it's up before the fit. Wow. I guess they didn't want the stuff leaking out about whatever. Maybe. Weird. We had Velveteen Dream versus Ho Ho Lun. There's one thing I have to fucking hate Mauro Ranallo for. Patrick's finisher is the top rope elbow, isn't it?
Yeah, it's called the Purple Rainmaker.
Yeah, apparently. Oh no. Oh no. What has Curry Hojo fucking done in order to get this treatment? Okay, now. So then Asuka was being driven to the arena and being asked stupid questions. And then suddenly there was like this kerfuffle, and they cut to the bonnet of the car. And Nikki Cross is there, like banging on the window, like, I want you! I want you! Everybody, grabbed at the door, which wasn't even fucking locked. Who didn't lock the fucking door? Which idiot? What the fuck? And, Asuka was screaming at her, Nikki was screaming at Asuka, and who the fuck knows? It was awesome, but it was like, what? So now we've got Officer Pain and Heavy Machinery in Regal's office. And they're all bloody mouthing off at each other. And Regal says, knock it off! Clearly Heavy Machinery are credible contenders. So in 2 weeks, we're going to have Heavy Machinery versus Officer Pain. And Regal basically said to Ellering, make sure your boys are prepared because they're going to be in for a battle. Because it's literally the biggest match in NXT history. Literally, figuratively, fuck off. Figuratively, the biggest match in NXT history happened in the main event. We'll get to that. Now, this is interesting. They recapped the Itami Lorcan shit from a few weeks back. And they had them, Itami and Lorcan, come out. And Lorcan basically exploded, attacked Itami, smacked him in the face, and literally, with that first blow, Itami's nose got broken and he was bleeding out of it badly. And the referee stopped the match. Oh, and that's the other thing that I forgot from seeing the notes here for this. The other thing that happened in the Bellator show is Chandler's, Chandler, the guy with the broken ankle or whatever.
Right.
Perhaps not. They went to give him a stool to sit on. After he'd lost. And they pulled the stool out the way, so Chandler fell on his fucking ass. Great job, guys. Only it's just noted here that it's like, because they let Itami, I think, like sit down in the corner sort of thing, and it just was mentioned there. And he actually got taken to the back. I am amazed they actually left this in. Because I thought they were just going to not include it at all. Either way, they build up hype for Roderick Strong and Bobby Roode on the 400th episode. And they do a good little video package, which we'll probably see again next week. So then Itami shows back up into the ring. And Lorcan's like... he's basically waving Lorcan to come out the back and saying, like, I'm ready to go. He's got God knows how much cotton wool stuffed up his nose to stop any bleeding. And they have the match, and they had a really, if it was a little brief, but they had a really good chemistry, and Itami managed to clothesline him off the ropes after Lorcan took a bump to the floor. Itami apparently also kicked a cameraman in the head as well for something. Lorcan fucked up his knee, and rather than show compassion, Itami just gave him the go to sleep and pinned him. So then Itami called Ono to the ring, and they went face to face. Nikki Cross ran in, distracting them, which led to Wolf and Dane showing up of Sanity and laying out both of them.
What?
And Wolf cut a promo saying that they're ending all the lies and forced friendships with chaos. And Eric Young was away on his master plan. Okay. I think I know now, looking at these notes, why it's not up on the network yet.
Why's that?
Well, apparently they don't have the rights to play Great Balls of Fire, so it was just generic sort of Great Balls of Fire sounding like 50s music. So they had a video package for Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman ambulance match. with the audio from Brock Lesnar versus Samoa Joe. I think that's why it's not on the network yet, because they're editing the fuck out of that. They then say that next week it'll be Sanity versus Ono and Itami in a tag match. Because of reasons. And then Nikki Cross versus Asuka in the last woman standing match. Man, this shit was good. Oh. This is what's doing women's wrestling, not the fucking Money in the Bank shit. So, yeah. Cross had the advantage early on. Pulled, like, out at least 6 or 7 chairs from under the ring as they went to break. And Asuka got thrown into the steps. Cross got thrown into another set of steps. Asuka brought out a trash can, which, of course, led to Orlando to do ECW chants. Why? Asuka put the can on Cross, give her a missile drop kick in the can. Nikki hit a neck breaker on the ring apron. And then they gave each other back suplexes into the chairs that were basically on the ring floor, on the ring apron floor. Oh, sorry, the ring floor, I should say. Then swinging fisherman neck breakers with the chairs knocked out of the ring. Asuka just managed to get up onto her feet at about 9.5. Kicked Nikki in the head. Chairs then got put back in the ring. Nikki powerbombed Asuka off the apron onto the chairs. Asuka slammed the back of her head on the ramp during this. That was crazy. But Asuka somehow managed to drag herself up to her feet at 9 again. Then they started going near the announce position. Asuka kicked a lighting rig. Cross gave her a spinning net breaker on a crash pad. Asuka barely gets up again. So then Nikki sets up a table on the floor, puts Asuka across it, sets up a ladder, began climbing. Asuka climbed up after her, and then Asuka suplexed her off the ladder and through the announce table rather than the table that they set up. Asuka got up at about 9.75. Nikki Cross never moved. Asuka wins in the most face-ish way possible, and she's supposed to be a heel. I think they're going to have to do something about that, because I honestly think we're going to have a situation at SummerSlam when it's Ember Moon versus Asuka, and Ember Moon's going to get booed. Because I don't think they're going to boo Asuka.
No.
Just because it's different with the men. You can boo them because they're from a different country. With Asuka, it's like she's a fucking wrestler. They're gonna cheer the shit out of her. Oh. Overall, good show. Not bad for a $3.99. Let's hope 400's good. Speaking of, shall I just go through the list of all the spoilers of stuff that happened?
Yeah, we can do that.
So there were 2 Mae Young Classic qualifiers. Whether these will air on the network, I'm not sure. But they had Bianca Belair, which is basically Bianca Blair, beating Aaliyah, and Vanessa Bourne, who is Danielle Camella, beating Jamie Hatchie, who is basically Jamie Jameson. So basically, it's just these NXT people that have been there for a year now getting their chance to shine and get buried to probably more important people. Let's hope. We had Johnny Gargano come out saying that he's missed the ring and the fans and never saw Ciampa's betrayal coming. And he's now focused on the future and wants to be on the TakeOver Brooklyn show, obviously in August. No Way Jose beat Cesar Bononi. Afterwards, Almas comes out with Taya Trinidad, and Almas beats the shit out of Cesar. Jose tries to make the save, but Almas runs off. Ember Moon beat Ruby Riott. Spoilers for next week with this, obviously, but Bobby Roode retains over Roderick Strong. Strong thought he had the match won, but Bobby had his foot under the rope. So the match got restarted, and that's what led to Roode winning. Dane and Wolf beat Ono and Itami. I think, was that because Ono or Itami refused the tag or something, from what I remember?
I believe so.
Oney Lorcan beat Danny Burch. Aleister Black beat the debuting Bobby Fish. What? That you don't debut him as a jobber, you stupid bastards.
That was a mistake.
The Authors of Pain beat Heavy Machinery. And then afterwards, Sanity confronted the Authors of Pain. And the book pages started falling of the sky, and Alexander Wolf started eating them. So I guess this is the bloody... That's the tag team title push? Authors of Pain are automatic heels? Which means somehow Sanity are faces?
I mean,
Even though nobody gives a fuck about Wolf?
they killed.
They just love Dane? Whatever.
They killed the tag division.
Jeet Rama beat Johnny Mandel in a dark match. The number one contenders match is Drew McIntyre that beat Killian Dane. So I guess that means it's Drew versus Bobby. Wasn't that the main event of bloody Bound for Glory 2 years ago?
Yeah.
It's also worth noting, and I did notice it tonight, Nikki Cross now has a remix Sanity theme for herself with her laughing and everything. So that was a nice job. Kennedy Brink got a standing ovation for her debut as a referee in those Mae Young Classic qualifier matches. And Mora obviously got a giant reaction being introduced by Triple H. Understandably. Other than that, I think that's all the NXT news that we have at the minute.
All right. So that's going to move us from NXT to what's going on with Ring of Honor.
Ooh, so we'll start off with the TV tappings from last month. So this is episode 302, I think. Or was last week? No, last week I think was 300. So yeah, this is the show that basically nobody watched because they were still recovering from the pay-per-view, which is annoying because apparently this was actually bloody good. So we started with Flip Gordon versus Jonathan Gresham, which was really good and fast-paced. Gresham winning with the octopus stretch submission. Shelley getting on the ring afterwards and putting over the match and then saying that the company needs somebody like Flip just as much as he needs, Ring of Honor, and extended a mentorship to Flip Gordon. It was really good showcase of Flip, and that's why him getting pushed to the fucking mountain by the Elite in the "where do you think you're going" shit is probably because people need to book Flip fucking Gordon. as much as possible. So then we had Jay White talking about Punishment Martinez attacking everybody and getting revenge. Then we had a Josh Woods video package with him winning the Top Prospect tournament and then him getting the revenge on David Starr a few weeks back. And then came out for an interview with Riccaboni saying that he wants to challenge Kushida for the TV title, but didn't want to wait until he comes back to Ring of Honor. So instead, he's going to challenge Jay Briscoe. Might be a mistake. So then we had Silas Young versus Bobby Fish. Oh. Interestingly, Silas went for the Code of Honor, but Bobby Young just kicked the shit out of him instead. This was as stiffy as you'd expect, considering the two guys. And it was Young hitting Misery and getting the clean pinfall victory. And, you know, that's Bobby Fish's farewell to Ring of Honor. With actually a clean match, thank God. Then they had a promo package for Marty versus Adam Cole, which is VOD exclusive, so you've got to go onto the Ring of Honor website to buy it, I think, from what I remember. Because I don't think it's on YouTube. So they finished off with Punishment Martinez versus Jay White, which was, again, a great way of showcasing both White and Martinez. With Martinez... So yeah, White rolled up Punishment Martinez and was ready for somebody to attack him and threw Punishment to the outside. But then got thrown into the barricade and... Oh no, sorry. Yeah, he managed to win. Punishment Martinez won from what I remember, but... Oh, sorry, no. Jay White rolled up Martinez and he was sort of like ready for the post-match beatdown. But even though Martinez threw him into the barrier, cleared the timekeeper table, and then powerbombed him through it. So in essence, this show actually showed you that the future of this company is pretty good, considering everybody's fucking leaving for WWE or TNA. It seems. Actually a good show. So not a bad Ring of Honor weekend. Speaking of... the TV tapings that happened this past week as the post-show to Best in the World. Apparently, there was no crowd there. Because it wasn't on pay-per-view, nobody bothered to go. So there was a heck of a lot of empty space behind the hard cam. The tapings opened with the Addiction running down all the crowd and turning heel, and Daniels invoking his rematch clause, vowing to win the title and then quit the company. Apparently, there were references to NXT in this, so I don't think that's going to be airing. Dalton Castle and the boys beat Coast to Coast and Flip Gordon to retain the six-man tag titles. Matt Taven beat Ultimo Guerrero thanks to a ref distraction. Motor City Machine Guns beat War Machine. Then in the Women of Honor, Chris Wolf beat Sumi Sakai. It's worth noting that bloody Chris Wolf got hit in the head with streamers when the match started. What the fuck, guys? Don't you know how to throw a fucking streamer? So then Cody came out alone for a promo. Praised the crowd for loving him and then buried Sinclair for not addressing him as champ or Mr. Rhodes. Because I guess they can call him Mr. Rhodes, but they can't call him Cody Rhodes. Possibly. The great thing is, where was this show happening, Owen?
Where was the tapings?
The Lowell Memorial Auditorium.
It was Lowell, Mass, yeah.
Yeah. You know what happened there? 20-something years ago? This was the venue in which Shawn Michaels said he lost his smile. So, of course, Cody says that Daniels lost his smile. Yes! And he says, oh, you're getting your rematch, but it's going to be a 2 out of 3 falls match. So, then Punishment Martinez beat Jonathan Gresham. Jay White making the save afterwards, I guess, from beatdown. Actually, from what I can tell, one of the spots was Gresham got powerbombed on the apron. And not in a sort of good way. And not in a good Kevin Owens sort of way, in a sort of that's unsafe way. So that's good. Cheeseburger and Jay Diesel beat the Tempura Boys. Cheeseburger then almost got carried off by groupies. Only for Will Ferreira to run out and attack Cheeseburger and flee through the crowd. Then the Young Bucks and Hangman Page beat the Briscoes and Bully Ray. After a couple of ref bumps and Skrull using his umbrella, and then Page falling on Briscoe for a cover. And afterwards, the Briscoes attacked anybody and everybody. Crew members, cameramen, whatever. Whipped a chain around. They're going crazy. Shane Taylor jumped somebody from behind as they came to the ring for a match. Taylor beat the shit out of him. Don't know who it was. They didn't even give him like an introduction or anything, so who knows. Jenny Rose beat Mandy Leon in a Women of Honor match. Then the Bullet Club did a promo without Cody or Marty, so basically just Matt and the Bucks and Page, and they basically said that Ring of Honor's got no challenges for the tag titles, so they've booked themselves into a match for the 6-man belts instead. I guess that's all right. Then in the 6-man mayhem, Marty Scurll beat Vinny Marseglia, Josh Woods, Will Ferreira, El Terrible, and Kazarian. Basically, Kazarian had it won after hitting a cutter, but Marty hit him with, or stole the pin, I guess, off him. Beer City Bruiser beat Brian Malonis with a frog splash. Silas Young had a sign up saying that it's been 29 days without a workplace safety accident, basically hinting towards lethal. So then Kushida beat Jay White to retain the TV title with the Back to the Future. Then bloody Silas Young and Bruiser come out with a sign that says it's been 36 days since Jay Lethal's been seen. And of course, some clever dick in the crowd went, "It's only been one." Then another Women of Honor match, Karen Q beating Deonna Purrazzo in somewhat of a surprise result. So then Silas Young and Bruiser showed up, and the sign said it's 43 days since we've seen him. What? So Lethal showed up and cleaned house. Went to attack him with the keg and everything, but security stopped them. So, that was weird. And then the main event, title match. So the first fall saw Daniels injuring Cody with a barricade, but Cody made the comeback with an arm drag off the top turnbuckle. Then Daniels shoved Cody into the Sinclair as the ref bump. Then both hit low blows. Daniels low blowed Cody, but then Cody low blowed him. Kazarian ran in with a chair, threw it in, but Marty made the save for Cody. And then Daniels tried to use the chair, but got rolled up by Cody. So there's the first fall. So then Daniels hit Cody with the chair before the next fall started. laid into him as the second fall began. Cody got thrown to the barricades, 19 count, just managed to make it in. Then eventually hit the crossroads, took the second fall, and Cody wins 2-0. Celebrate.
That's interesting. I don't know why they jobbed Daniels out like that.
Because he's going to be working on Waterworld? I don't know. It's odd. We'll say that. It's odd. But that's all the Ring of Honor stuff, I think.
All right. Ring of Honor moves us on to sticking with a loose attachment to Ring of Honor. Let's talk a little New Japan Pro Wrestling and the fact that the big shows are coming up this coming weekend.
This Saturday. Woo! I haven't been excited for a card like this in months, even though it's going to be mostly shit because it's this US tournament that nobody gives a shit about. Anyway, before all that, the 2 Kurikan Hall shows as part of the Kazuna Road stuff. On the first one, on Monday the 26th, Suzuki versus Yoshihashi. Suzuki won. Obviously, Suzuki-gun got involved. Chaos and Okada. Yeah, even Okada came out to help out. But yeah, eventually the Gotch-style pole driver was enough for Suzuki to retain. Then he took out the buddy referee, Red Shoes, and then called out the fans in attendance for clapping for the loser that is Yoshihashi, and declared that he will win the G1 because we are Suzuki Army Ichiban. And then on the Tuesday, the thing I will note about some of these matches, the bloody Young Boys were having matches against each other on both of these shows. And in all 3 of the matches that they had over the 2 shows, they all went to time limit draws of 10 minutes. That's a bit surprising, I will say. Really getting the chance to shine. Thing to note from the Tuesday show, after Sanada Evil, Hiromu and Naito beat Tanahashi, Robinson, Taguchi, and Finlay, Taguchi tried to offer Sanada a chance to join his Taguchi Japan group. So I don't know whether they're teasing a split there. Not sure. And then Kushida retained the junior heavyweight title, beating Bushi with the Back to the Future. Then afterwards, El Desperado made the appeal as the next challenger after smacking Kushida with a guitar. I guess in the same way that I guess Bushi misted Kushida after they had their stuff at Dominion, after the stuff at Dominion, probably. So then we get to the G1 stuff. So they've announced, we know the blocks, we know the schedule and everything. The key thing to note, every single show will be airing live on New Japan World. Although only the first 4 shows and the final 3 shows at Sumo Hall will actually be airing with English commentary. If you are wanting to watch only that. So starts July 17th with Block A. I'll just go through the first day stuff and then the big matches that really stand out from the other days. So on July the 17th for Block A, we've got Tanahashi versus Sabre Jr., Ibushi versus Naito, Nagata taking on Yoshihashi, Makabe versus Bad Luck Fale, and Goto versus Ishii. Then we have 3 straight days at Kurikan Hall. Starting off with the B block and their first matches, we've got Kojima versus Robinson, Elgin versus Tamatonga, Yano versus Okada, Sonada versus Evil, and Suzuki versus Kenny Omega. Night 2 of Kurikan has got Naito versus Yoshihashi, Ibushi versus Zack Sabre Jr. Yeah, the match that you never got at NXT is happening, bitches. Nagata versus Goto as well, along with Makabe and Ishii and Tanahashi Fale. And then the final night of Kurikan Hall stuff on July the 22nd is Omega versus Tonga, Suzuki taking on Sonada, Evil versus Juice Robinson, Okada versus Elgin. Ooh, that could be good. And Kojima versus Yano. Then we've got July 23rd in Tokyo. Probably the top one on there, I would argue, would be Ibushi versus Ishii. That should be nice. Also, Tanahashi and Nagata. Then Block B on the 25th in Fukushima. On that one, we've got Okada versus Sonada and Juice Robinson versus Suzuki, along with Omega and Yano and the other ones. Miyagi on July 26th. Top one on that, probably Tanahashi versus Goto. Also, Ibushi versus Makabe. Probably that could be good. And Ishii versus Yoshihashi. God, there's so many good matches. July 27th in Nagata, we'll be having Okada versus Kojima, Suzuki versus Evil, and Elgin versus Kenny Omega. July 29th in Aichi province, we got Naito versus Ishii on that one, as well as Goto versus Sabre Jr. and Tanahashi versus Yoshihashi, and Ibushi versus Bad Luck Fale. Yeah, I nearly went through all of them there. So that's how good that one is. Gifu on July the 30th. We've got Omega versus Kojima and Okada versus Juice Robinson. Suzuki versus Tonga and Elgin versus Sonada should be good matches as well. It's amazing how I'm not mentioning Toru Yano in most of these because that probably won't be that good. Then August the 1st in Kagoshima, we got Tanahashi versus Ibushi and Naito versus Goto, among others. Kenny Omega versus Evil on August 2nd in Fukuoka. Also, Suzuki versus Kojima, which would be nice. August the 4th in Ehime province. That's going to be headlined by the looks of it by Naito versus Sabre Jr. Also, Ibushi versus Nagata should be nice. August the 5th in Osaka, headlined by... Ooh, that's a tough one. You've got Suzuki Elgin, you've got Sonada, Kojima, Evil Okada as well. Omega Juice Robinson, that could be nice. August the 6th in Shizuoka, Ishii and Tanahashi on that one. Ibushi versus Yoshihashi, Nagata versus Sabre Jr. Kanagawa on the 8th of August. That'll be having Okada versus Suzuki, along with Omega and Sonada as well. And then the Sumo Hall stuff. So the final matches in the blocks, which probably will be key when we get to it. We've got Makabe versus Hashi, Fale versus Nagata, Ishii versus Sabre Jr., Ibushi versus Goto, and Tanahashi versus Naito. And then August the 12th, God, I really hope we can do something regarding that week. I don't even know what days these are. Owen will have to tell me. We'll have to plan
we're looking at...
I'm looking at August the 13th, but I'll talk about August the 12th first, because August the 12th, that's Kojima versus Evil, Elgin versus Robinson, Tonga versus Sonada, Suzuki versus Yano. God, that's an easy win. And Okada versus Omega. They're saving it to be the last match of the fucking blocks. I love it.
I want to make a bold prediction right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think Juice beats Omega.
Okay. I'm trying to see when that one is. That's August 5th in Osaka. By the way, when's August 13th?
That's not a date to ask me about. You asked me too quick. I have to get my calendar up.
I asked you 40 seconds ago. The only reason I say that is because a lot of the shows are 5:30. A lot of the shows are 5:30 a.m. Eastern starts.
That's a Sunday.
So the G1 finals are on a Sunday. That's good. Thing is, are we going to do a breakfast time podcast?
We'll
I guess
see.
it depends on the cards, but yeah, some of the shows are 3 a.m. Eastern, some are 4, some are 6. But the interesting thing is the Sumo Hall show at the end and the first show in Hokkaido, which makes sense because obviously it's further away, are both being held at 2 a.m. Eastern. So those of you that are on the West Coast, just treat it as staying up late because that's going to be 11 Pacific time. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just treat it as a midnight feast. July 17th, which is Sunday into Monday, is it? That'd be Sunday into Monday, wouldn't it? Because if it's Monday in Japan, so wow, you can watch that literally hours after fucking Battleground. That's a double header if ever I saw one, ladies and gentlemen. Holy shit.
So here's the way I'm thinking. I think this is going to begin the real big... I've been talking about this for months now. This is going to begin the big push for Juice Robinson. He's going to get by Kojima, and he'll beat Tonga, and then he'll find a way to beat Kenny, but he'll lose to Okada.
Kenny, I think... I don't know. I could see Kenny winning G1 again. Because the way I sort of see it is I think Omega's going to win every single match when we get to that. No, Omega's going to win every single match when we... this is my hypothesis. Omega's winning every single match when we get to the end. Okada is going to win every single match but one. Whether that's Suzuki, whether that's Juice Robinson, I don't know. But either way, when we go into that match, Okada will be 2 points behind Omega. Keep in mind, because of the way that the brackets work and everything, if people are level pegging, it's decided on head-to-head results.
Right.
So Okada then has to win in order to win the block. Part of me thinks they're going to fucking draw again, but through that, obviously both get a point each, which means Omega goes to the final. So again, you're still under the impression of they drew again, but because of the draw, Omega won. And then you get the big sort of send-off, if you will, for the build-up to Wrestle Kingdom 12.
I'm with you, except for I have it reversed. I think Kenny's going to win every single match with the exception of one, and I think Juice beats him. Don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. So he's going to be at a disadvantage going into Okada, and then he's finally going to beat Okada.
I see. So Omega beats Okada and thus wins the group.
Exactly.
Ooh, either way, we're not even talking about the other side of the block because,
Right.
I mean, oh my God, if the G1 finals are Ibushi versus Omega, oh shit, son.
I mean, obviously, like I've been kind of zonked out for this show because I mean I'm worn out. But I mean,
Yeah.
when it comes to G1, it's one thing that I definitely have been taking a lot of interest in. Like, okay, let's look at, we have blocks here. Saber and Tana, I mean, could go either way, honestly.
Well, that's a couple of weeks, but yeah. When we're just talking about the opening matches here, but I'd say Tanner, because of his injury, I'd say he probably isn't winning, but he might be somewhere in the mix when we get to the end. Saber Jr.
Right.
Depends how much they want to push him.
Because Saber has a chance to beat. Wow. If you look at his lineup, it's mind-boggling here. He's got a quick match with Yoshihashi, which I'm sure he's going to take really rather easily. And then he's got Fale, which most likely will go to him.
Oh, keep in mind, Saber starts up with Tanahashi, then Ibushi.
Yep.
Yeah, so then he's got Yoshihashi. Match 4 is Fale. 5 is Goto, which should be interesting because, of course, the Chaos Suzuki gun stuff.
Right.
Then Makabe, which should still be a good fight because Makabe is very physical.
Correct.
Like Saber is. Naito will be probably a loss, but a damn good loss. Nagata in Nagata's final G1 appearance is pretty big. Actually, who's got Nagata in? Nagata's got Fale in Nagata's last ever match in the G1 tournament. Interesting. Speaking of Saber and that, Saber's got Ishii at Sumo Hall. Man. Jeez. I mean, that's the thing. You automatically, with Block B, think Omega and Okada are going to win, despite the fact Elgin's in there, Juice Robinson's in there, Sonada's in there, Evil's in there, Suzuki's in there. It says a lot that I don't think Kojima I don't think Toru Yano's got a chance.
No.
It's a shame that we aren't thinking about Kojima because, he'd certainly have a chance as well. But it's just that's how strong the rest of the field is in that group. And then with Block A, it's like whoever's winning, I think, is coming out of Block B in terms of the overall winner. But like, who do you put them against? Saber's strong. Tanahashi, if they want to try and risk him, is strong. Ibushi would be a dream match if he got to the. I'm honestly thinking they could actually do Omega Ibushi as the G1 final.
It's possible.
In a sort of dream match style thing. And then, it doesn't really matter that Omega, if it is him, let's say, beats Ibushi, because it's still the spectacle of they've put on a bloody great match.
Of course.
It's not like Ibushi is just there. It's not like they're going to have Ibushi's in the final because they just want to have a great match with him. They are going to push Ibushi in the right way. Hell, if they start it off by giving him an upset victory over Naito, that'd be an interesting dynamic, I would say. Because if you remember last year, Omega lost and Okada lost, and I think Goto lost in their first matches. I think. Which, if you remember, Okada obviously was champion.
Right.
Omega won the thing. Goto won the other. Goto was runner-up, but won the other block. I think they all lost, from what I vaguely remember.
I mean, like I said, you want to talk about throwing a Hail Mary situation. I just said Juice Robinson's going to get a major
I
upset
think
in the G1.
the thing is, I think you're thinking the wrong tournament. Because let's preview this week. Because I think this might be where he gets the chance to shine. Because, this Saturday, it's part 1 of the G1 special. So the card for Saturday we do know fully. We've got the Briscoes, Ospreay, and Roppongi Vice versus the Bullet Club of Fale, Yajiro, Marty Scurll, and the Young Bucks. Then it's, I guess, CML Liger, if you want to call it that, of Liger, Volador Jr., Dragon Lee, and Titan versus Sanada, Evil, Bushi, and Hiromu Takahashi. Then with the US heavyweight stuff, we've got Jay Lethal versus Hangman Page, which I'd say Hangman Page is probably going to win if they want to push it a bit.
I'd say so.
Maybe. Give him the win in that sense would be interesting. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Juice Robinson. I think Juice will win that into what some would see as an upset. Probably because of, if you think back, Sabre Jr. fucked up Juice Robinson back at Dominion.
Yep.
So that'll be the reverse booking there if they do decide to do that. Then you've got Tanahashi, Kushida, Jay White, and Dave Finlay. So Jay White wrestling back on a New Japan card for the first time in a while. We'll be taking on Yoshitatsu, the Tempura Boys, and Billy Gunn. Christ, if that's a match that Kushida, Tanahashi, Jay White, and Dave Finlay don't win, there isn't any fucking justice. The Gorillas of Fuck have their rematch with War Machine for the tag titles. War Machine challenging the Gorillas as champs. Then you've got the other 2 US heavyweight tournament matches with Naito versus Ishii. I'd say Naito for that one, probably.
Yeah.
And then Elgin Omega. I'm tempted to say Omega's probably going to win that one.
See, here's the thing. I think that match is going to tell you exactly where we're going with the tournament itself. If Elgin can get an upset win, number 1, that puts more credibility on him, and number 2, it frees Kenny up to win the G1 for the second year in a row.
No, it frees Kenny up to beat Okada on Sunday.
Which is happen.
I want it to fucking happen.
And here's the thing. That's the reason why I'm saying that Kenny's going to lose to Juice Robinson is the reason why I'm building that up is it's going to start with the U.S. title tournament. And then
I'm treating it as if Kenny isn't going to be facing Okada at this show.
It's very possible.
Because I honestly think if they don't do it, the crowd might riot.
Probably.
Because I think that's why they saw this thing happening. They foresaw it as sort of like okay, they're facing each other. I'm guessing what will probably happen is there'll probably be some sort of tag match.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Just looking at the blocks. Okada and possibly Yoshihashi.
What
versus Fale and Omega?
Why don't they just cut out the middleman and just give us all what we want? Why don't we do Omega and Cody versus Okada and Ibushi?
The thing is, if it's obvious, it's being broadcast on New Japan World and is being geo-blocked.
Right.
At least for American audiences, from what I can tell. And and Canada as well, because of the whole impact's going to be on pay-per-view.
Right.
If they do Okada versus Omega and Omega wins, nobody will give a fuck about Slammiversary. That's the interesting thing. I'd have thought New Japan, because let's be honest, if New Japan wants to take on WWE, they need to eliminate WWE's competition. By default, technically, that's Impact.
Right.
So I'd do that and have it like, have the buzz like, oh my God, this happened. You need to watch Friday. Because I think, you know, full credit to them putting together a US heavyweight tournament, but nobody's going to give a shit about that. If you say to people, oh, by the way, on Access TV on Friday, you're getting Omega Okada 3 before Omega Okada 4 in the G1s. Then again, I feel that would damage the G1 build-up.
Yep.
So, I mean, Cody isn't going to win the IWGP title. I don't think they'd be that stupid. Certainly, I think that's why Ring of Honor booked it, because obviously it puts Ring of Honor in a better light because it's obviously sort of champion versus champion stuff.
Right.
But I think Okada's going to do what he normally do, makes Cody look good, and somehow fucking wins despite the fact that nobody wants him to win anymore. They just want Kenny Omega to win. Because, of course, Okada wouldn't technically need another challenger. Because
No.
then we build into the G1. Which is the annoying bit. But I certainly see why it is. They're going to want Okada to go over in Tokyo. Or in Japan at least. Because they want that to be the big thing there. Because they know the people that want to buy it and watch Wrestle Kingdom will buy New Japan World.
That's
Trust
true.
me. I'm fucking tempted myself. It's only $10 for 1 month, as long as they don't lock me into a recurring thing. The key thing is as well, if you buy, looking at it, if you buy New Japan World, let's say July 16th, like the day before it starts,
Right.
you will get the entirety of the G1 climax for that $10.
It's true.
If anything, that's $10 you should spend rather than spending it on the network. Because what are you getting? You know, Great Balls of Fire and Battleground, which don't really look very good shows. Save the $10, use it for a month of G1, just for the month of G1. Don't, you know, if you want to choose to continue on, go ahead. You will enjoy it probably a lot more than the majority of stuff that WWE is putting out mainstream. The only problem is the stuff on the network's actually good compared to the actual shows that they put, well, the pay-per-views that they put on the network and the Raw and SmackDown product. Because you've got all the archive and everything. But I'd say, you know, if you want to renew in a month's time and you are on sort of like month-by-month renewals, save your money. Don't bother with July. And use that $10 instead to get a month's worth of New Japan when the G1 stuff's happening.
I've been very much contemplating doing just that myself.
Well, I'm guessing not sacrificing the network, otherwise we're sort of screwed with NXT coverage.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sacrificing the network,
but
but I mean,
dropping the $10 for just that month to watch them, because obviously they're going to be on the New Japan World stuff,
right?
Whenever you want to see it. So, you know, if you've got time and sort of in the evening, you know, you got plenty of time, because I'm just looking again. July 17th is the first, then 20, 21, 22, 23, 25, 26, 27, 29th and 30th. Then you've got a day off, then August the 1st and 2nd, day off 4th, 5th and 6th of August, day off 8th, and then a couple of days before the final block matches and then the finals itself over the 3 days at Sumo Hall. So that's a thing.
We'll see.
I guess we shall.
So before we end tonight, we do get to go into what's going on with the indies and the results that are going on.
So the other news and stuff. Let's have a quick look. Get to anything interesting notes from Dave from last week. By the looks of it, AAA may be having to make adjustments to their Triple Mania show. Because they were supposed to be having it Saturday, August the 26th. The problem is that's now when Mayweather versus McGregor's happening. So it looks as if that show is now moving to Sunday, the 27th of August. Basically, because they want the show to be on the US pay-per-view. And obviously, if they do it on the Saturday with Mayweather and McGregor, it probably ain't going to fucking happen. So who knows? In terms of the pay-per-view stuff, though, who knows whether that will happen? Because the guy that set up the last one, being Court Bauer, doesn't work for them anymore. Also, interestingly, regarding New Japan, they had a record indoor gate for Osaka for Dominion, but it's worth noting that the Kizuna Road show from a couple of weeks back didn't sell out. You know, because they ran it 3 times in the space of a week, it didn't sell. And that now seems to be a trend. Korakuen Hall, the sellout venue, isn't selling out. So, somewhat concerning, arguably. Also, Willie Urbina, former TNA announcer and everything, will be doing Spanish commentary for the New Japan shows. Starting from now and, obviously going on with the live shows this weekend. Apparently there's a lot of frustration in Impact that as long as they're on Pop TV, nobody's going to watch them. That explains more of the push for Spike and everything. WWE obviously wants McGregor and Mayweather on their shows at some point to sort of hype up the various stuff. Apparently, WWE sent out a survey for fans that attended WrestleMania in Orlando. As in, would they want to go to a WrestleMania in New York, Toronto, or London? Owen, did you get that survey?
Well, considering the fact that Scott was the one that purchased our tickets, I have a feeling he got it, but I didn't get it.
Okay. Corey Hojo's been seen sort of recapping and everything. Or not recapping, but getting ready for her stuff. Because I think I can't remember whether she's supposed to be part of the Mae Young stuff or not. I can't remember. Because it might be Io Shirai that is and isn't. There's been loads of tryouts. Crazy Steve was at them. Well, sorry, no, these are the new signings by the looks of it. Crazy Steve's been picked up and everything. There was one that they did note that they were saying that she was a judo competitor. that was in the Olympics. Whatever. It came out. Let's see if I can find the note where it was. Damn it, it's further down in my notes. Oh, shit. Yeah, they claim that she competed in the Olympic trials in Rio and missed making the team. But a thunderous throw is put on the radar to the WWE talent scouts. This is both WWE publishing this and ESPN. What actually happened is it was photo shoots that she did on the beaches, because there weren't any Olympic trials in Rio, and she was never on the Brazilian national judo team, nor was she an elite level judoka. She was just a woman that did judo that basically had the right sort of look that they're looking for. So it wasn't the fact that she was actually good at sports. It's because she had tits. New team added to to King of Trios. It's House White Wolf, which looks to be a Spanish-based team, comprising of A-Kid, Adam Chase, and Zayas. So they're going to be part of King of Trios in Wolverhampton at the start of September for Labor Day weekend, from what I can remember. ICW will be having a WWE UK title match. Pete Dunne will be defending July 29th on against the winner. Yeah, so this is confusing. So they're doing a 4-way match between Davey Blaze, Kenny Williams, BT Gunn, and Gabriel Kidd next weekend at an ICW show. Then whoever wins that faces Wolfgang. And the winner of that match then goes on to face Dunn. Keep in mind, also at the Shug's House Party 4 show that the UK title will be on the line for, Noam Dar makes his return to team up. I think it's up against Joe Coffey and Grado. Against, I can't remember who it is that's teaming up with Noam Dar. Trying to remember from the video that I saw a few weeks back. Former Tough Enough winner Matt Capitelli's announced that the brain tumor that he had removed 10 years ago has come back and in a more aggressive form. So thoughts and prayers certainly out to him and his family regarding that. The show in Singapore, turns out we know why it's happened. It means that Chris Jericho's back because he jobbed to Hideo Itami. I love it. It's also worth noting on that show that Sasha Banks and Bayley teamed up with Asuka to beat Nia Jax, Emma, and Alexa Bliss. Also, because they're sneaky bastards, they decided to do Carl Anderson versus Finn Balor. Because they're beautiful. Pro Wrestling Guerrilla's gone crazy because we've got a damn good squad of 7 so far out of 16 for Bola. So the 7 are Flamita, Keith Lee, Walter from Germany, Travis Banks, Ray Phoenix, Desmond Xavier, and Donovan Dijak. I can't wait to see who the other 9 are, because that's already fucking amazing. Progress Wrestling are now going to be doing not just a show in New York on the 12th. They're going to be doing a show in Boston on the 13th. So they're going crazy. They're going actual global. It's also worth noting, in terms of the Progress stuff, WWE will be doing a house show in Worcester, Massachusetts on that Sunday. And they'll also be they'll be from Boston, Massachusetts itself for Monday Night Raw. which will be the go-home show before SummerSlam, which makes me think that might be Pete Dunne, because Pete Dunne will obviously be over there because it's Progress. They'll obviously be building probably more towards that for the SummerSlam NXT show. Along with who knows who else could show up from Progress in terms of that show as well. We will see. It looks as if the trademark issues that have prevented Billy Corgan from purchasing NWA have now been resolved. So it looks like that'll be going through. In terms of the Raw viewership, weirdly, the first hour did the worst. So confusing. So yeah, the first hour did a 2.89 average. The second did a 3.09, and the third hour did a 2.95. So if anything, they shouldn't have done the first hour of the show. Well, arguably the first hour and something minutes because of the Ball family. Oh, bastards. Also, apparently, WWE recently filmed material with a child actor that was playing a young Bray Wyatt. Methinks video package for something to do with Great Balls of Fire / SummerSlam. Looks as if Tyson Kidd's going to be coming back in terms of, by the looks of it, agent producer role, or something that doesn't require him to be wrestling. He was backstage, I believe, at Smackdown last night as well. With the Mae Young Classic, they've announced that it will be Jim Ross and Lita on commentary. Jim Ross, I'm hyped for. Lita, let's hope she isn't fucking drunk. Like she is every time. They're going to be doing a bracketology special straight after SummerSlam to build up to it, despite the fact that they're recording it in a couple of weeks. The reason why for that stuff is the first 4 episodes will be airing August the 28th in a block, and then the next 4 will be the following week on September the 4th. The idea is that they want people to binge watch them, I believe. So I guess they will be on the network at some point as well, but certainly they'll be put on demand for people to catch when they can. So I'm guessing that will probably be the first 4 episodes will probably be the first rounds, and then it will be the last 16 and the last 8 probably over the September 4th broadcast ones. And then the semi-finals and the final will be part of the live special on September the 12th from Vegas, which will be airing directly after SmackDown. So I guess 205 Live that week will go fuck off. Or, considering it's Vegas, and because it's obviously it'll be West Coast, they might have 205 Live afterwards, in which case 4 hours of fucking wrestling. WWE is going to be going to Australia and New Zealand over September 13th to the 16th, apparently. Also, William Regal will be at London Comic Con at the end of July. Woot, woot, added woot. Also, police in East Haven, Connecticut arrested James Raymond, who was apparently the organizer of a charity wrestling show. Doesn't say the name of the show, annoyingly, or the brand. Basically, the promotion wasn't paid for their expenses, and the charity, the Autism Awareness Charity, never got the donation. They got charged with issuing a bad check to Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling. So yeah, apparently he screwed over charity. Apparently, they were trying to contact him, investigators, but because he disconnected his phone line because of all the harassing calls and texts that he was getting. And once it was clear that he had no intent to cooperate with the investigation, that's why they put the arrest warrant out and got him. He's going to be appearing in court July the 5th. And also, this past week, the sad news about the death of Mr. Pogo, one of the deathmatch wrestling icons, if you will, certainly of Japanese deathmatch wrestling, died at the age of 66 on Friday. Apparently passed away on the operating table, having a major operation on his lower back. And during the operation, had a number of complications after being given anesthesia, including a heart attack and a stroke. He was then moved to a larger hospital and put in ICU, but passed away. Competed at the 1972 Olympics, then left Japan in 73. Started a US run in Georgia as Judo Joe. Also worked in Stampede and All-Star Wrestling and for the LaBelle promotion in California, where he became Mr. Sakai. And it wasn't until 85 that he went to New Japan. And he and Kendo Nagasaki, a.k.a. Kazuo Sakurada, not the Kendo Nagasaki from British Wrestling, in case you're wondering, everybody. They had a tag team called the Ninja Express from 85 to 91. And it was in the 90s, though, where he got his deathmatch moniker, working for Ing and FMW, with matches against Anita, who's obviously retiring in a couple of months, Masato Tanaka and Terry Funk, amongst others. He did receive a broken neck in a death match with Funk in 96, and at first it feared his career was over because he couldn't move in the ring, but came back the next year and has been wrestling on various shows for the past 20 years before the illness and the passing. Also, apparently, Blade Runner is going to be opening October 6th in America with Dave Bautista. And he's opening on October 5th in Australia. You bastards. With Mauro Ranallo's signing, apparently the talks began back in April and the deal got finalized a few weeks back. Basically, so it's a new multi-year contract, which isn't anything to do with the old contract. He's going to be working all NXT TV shows and takeover specials. So he won't be able to do basically anything that clashes with the Bellator stuff, it's seemingly, or the boxing. But he will still be able to do all of them. So he is good on that and everything. So that seems to be good. Also, WWE's announced a new weekly Hindi show for the Indian audience on Sony Max, entitled WWE Sunday Dhamal, which airs. It started this past Sunday, airing at, I guess, prime time in India, and it'll be a combination of matches taped from WWE tapings with features done in the language with the talent. So I guess sort of like what was the Mexican one? They did like one for, I guess, Spanish language Mexican stuff, didn't they? Back in the day, when they had some of the Spanish wrestlers. Was it No, Supervision was the channel, wasn't it? Can't remember what they called it. WWE Lucha? Can't even remember. But that's replacing, I think, the Raw replay that they were doing. So instead, it's just a general recap of everything WWE. Aside from that, from this past week, results-wise, House of Hardcore had a couple of shows. I don't think anything real major happened on those shows, from what I can see. Really. They happened, though. I will acknowledge that they happened, and there are results. Jack Swagger beat Billy Gunn, because apparently that's important. MVP also beat Jack Swagger and Tommy Dreamer on one of the shows as well. Preston City Wrestling. the big stuff from their tribute to the troop shows. I've got no results for show 1. Some of the big results from show 2, the UK Hooligans retained the PCW tag titles over the Entourage. Yeston Reese retained his open challenge, his heavyweight championship via the open challenge of James Finn. Also, on I think it was on the first show, but it isn't mentioned here. But the Knight family wrestled the Knight family. So yeah, Roy and Zach, the older brothers of Paige, took on Ricky Jr., who is Roy's son. So I guess that's Paige's nephew. Teamed up with PJ Knight, who is another of Paige's nephews. Apparently, the Knights had a fucking incredible match with each other. Also, Zia Brookside had apparently an incredible match with Saraya as well. It's been said. Also, in terms of the other show, for the tribute to the troop stuff, Dean Allmark retained the Cruiserweight title in a 2 out of 3 falls match over Ashton Smith. The Hooligans retained over PJ and Ricky Knight Jr. With the tag titles in a street fight. Moose won a battle royal, and the models of Joey Hayes and Danny Hope teamed up with X-Pac successfully beat Yeston Reese, Shea Samuels, Shah Samuels and Lionheart. So Fight Club Pro, this is worth mentioning because some big stuff happened. So it opened with Trent Seven, who I didn't know this, I should have expected it. Trent Seven's co-owner of the promotion. These wrestlers co-owning wrestling companies. I don't get it. So he brought out Travis Banks, and then they unveiled the new Fight Club Pro Championship belt, which really looked nice. Then Trent basically admitted the Fight Club Pro belt was a replica of the ECW TV title with a sticker put on the centerpiece. That's brilliant. But then Chris Brooks, Kid Lycos, Tyler Bate, and Pete Dunne showed up, all wanting a shot at it. So Martin Zaki, who brought the belt out and is the other co-owner, said, "Screw it, 6-man scramble was the main event." So Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher, both the Aussies, had a good match, which Mark Davis won. So I guess that's another guy we might be seeing in WCPW, Kyle Fletcher. It's been said to be a good match. Trying to get the result here. The Hunter brothers beat Wolfgang and BT Gunn and Extra Talented of Ricky Starks and Aaron Solo. And apparently it was Starks and Solo that did steal the show, even though they lost. Dan Maloney and Clint Margera. It became no DQ because Dan Maloney offered a challenge to anybody brave enough to take on the toughest motherfucker in the room. It's not wise to do against Clint Margera, arguably. I don't know who won that. Because afterwards, apparently, Darude Sandstorm hit and Session Moth Martina showed up, and both her and the referee, Shay, known as Barely Legal, because, of course, he just turned 18 and got drunk with her on the last show, dispatched Maloney in comical fashion. So that happened. Omari beat Jordan Devlin, Mark Haskins, and Will Ospreay. Said to be a very good match as well. Kaylee Ray beat Millie McKenzie, but Millie McKenzie certainly made herself a name of herself, certainly. She's only 16. Holy shit. I guess that's the new one to watch. if she's 16 and having a damn good match with Kaylee Ray. That's saying a lot. And then the Fight Club Pro title. I don't know what happened. All I know is we've got a new champion, and it's Travis Banks' co-partner in crime, Chris Brooks. So, yeah. I guess the proof is it is stranger than fiction. Chris Brooks, the somewhat not youngster, but the guy that I saw 2 years ago, sort of on the undercard for the undercard of Shikara's show, is now Fight Club Pro champion. Roll on July 28th. That could be very interesting. Sticking with the UK stuff, Progress Wrestling. Chapter 50, I give it 6 months from the Electric Ballroom. So it started with Pete Dunne saying that he wouldn't be defending the title until the Ali Pali show on September the 10th against Travis Banks, claiming that he owns Progress, the WWE, and all of sports entertainment. And Jim Smallman then came out and said he doesn't own Progress. He's contractually obligated to compete on shows, and so will be put in non-title matches. But if any wrestler defeats him before September the 10th, he'd have to defend the title against them at a future show, I guess. So we started off with Toni Storm beating Kaylee Ray to retain the women's title. The London Riots beat the Origin Banter edition of Mastiff and El Ligero. Flash Morgan Webster beat Jack Sexsmith via DQ. Because I guess he was villain by default, I guess. So yeah, Sexsmith was apparently about to use Mr. Coco. So yeah, that's a condom on his hand. When the lights went out and Deputy Dunn, the former Damien Dunn, showed up and hit Webster with his megaphone to get Sexsmith disqualified. And then Dunn attacked Sexsmith, saying that they were all having too much fun and he's part of the anti-fun police. God damn it. Pete Dunne beat Donovan Dijak. The Origin of Cruz and Gibson beat Jimmy Havoc and Mark Haskins. Havoc gave Haskins a present because it was his birthday on the day of the show, which was a steel chair. Haskins threw it, but it hit Havoc in the face. So Haskins got rolled up, which led to that finish. Travis Banks beat James Drake. CCK beat Trent Seven and Tyler Bate to win the Progress tag titles. Yeah, they're finally massively over. So that was the main event. So Progress have a show coming up this weekend in Cologne in Germany. They've also got a show July 9th in Birmingham, July 23rd in Manchester, and then back at the Electric Ballroom in Camden on July the 30th, with tickets have probably already sold out, more than likely. And it's also worth noting, as part of the Freedom Road tapings for stuff that will be airing some point in the autumn, Donovan Dijak was actually part of that show, beating Kyle Ashmore. Also, B. Priestley was on there, losing to Isla Dawn, and David Starr beat Jack Sexsmith. And at the end, the lumberjack match between Darrell Allen and Earl Black Jr. went to a no contest because several masked men attacked everybody. Because reasons, maybe? I don't know. CWF Mid-Atlantic's Absolute Justice from this past Saturday. Movie Mike and Timmy Danger beat Keith Mack and Cool J. Mitch Connor beat Kane Justice by pinfall in a non-title match. So I guess the title for Kane's title may be on the line in a future one. Chet Sterling beat Jakob Hammermeyer to retain the PWI International Ultra J Crown Championship. Mecha Mercenary pinned the Fury of Him to win the Everything to Lose 4-way tag action, which means that Him can no longer wrestle in a mask, so he had to unmask himself, I guess. In terms of the other stuff, the Sandwich Squad put a full year's worth of tag title shots on the line. Zayn and Dave Dawson put their tag titles on the line. Sis and Hiss put their masks on the line, which is why him must have obviously got pinned because of the mask and stuff. And even Alexander Sharp and Otto Schwanz put on up Otto's career. So that's what was up for grabs there. Eric Andrews beat Rick Converse to retain the CWF Worldwide TV title. Roy Wilkins and Darius Lockhart beat Dirty Daddy and Snooty Fox. The Extreme Horsemen, C.W. Anderson beat Smith Garrett in a non-title match. And then Trevor Lee beat Nick Richards by submission in a no DQ, no holds barred, no countout match. Wrestle Circus, Dive Harder with a Vengeance. You can get this if you subscribe the $5 to Twitch. It's 5.5 hours, I will tell you, though. So it is a bit crazy. So in terms of what happened, the Wrestle Circus tag title match between Roppongi Vice beat the Gorillas of Destiny to become the new champs. Not too bad a match. It was supposed to be Scorpio Sky versus Jeff Cobb, but Jeff Cobb wasn't able to make it to the show. So that became Scorpio Sky versus Brody King instead, with Scorpio Sky won. Rachel Ellering retained the Lady of the Ring title over Mia Yim. Pretty good match. Adam Cole and Britt Baker beat Sami Callihan and Jessica Havoc. That was a good match as well. The DDT Pro Iron Heavyweight title, Wrestle Circus Sideshow title, and the Wrestling Revolver Scramble titles are all on the line because Joey Ryan had all three of them. He lost all three of them. It's worth noting, though, Lever Bates was stone cold. Lever Bates for the show. With bald head and everything. So, God love you, Lever. In terms of the titles, Laura James, the wife, beat Joey for the DDT title. Tessa Blanchard won the Sideshow title. And the Pro Wrestling Revolver Scramble title went to Jordan Lennox. For the ladder match, for the title shot that can be cashed in at any time, Shane Strickland won that against Leo Rush, Mr. 450, and Desmond Xavier. John Morrison beat Luchasaurus, who I guess is Vibora. Matt Sydal beat Zachary Wentz. Myron Reed retained the Glory Pro title against Michael Elgin. Penta and Ray Phoenix defeated Red Dragon. And then the Ringmaster title. So it was Brian Cage and Sammy Guevara, only for late on in the match for Shane Strickland to show up and cash in his briefcase to make it a three-way. And after some near falls and everything, it's Shane Strickland that is the new champion. So we get grooving at the end for the show. I can't remember what music it was because I don't have that good a memory, apparently, from Saturday. Also, it was 5.5 hours. Blimey. Beyond Wrestling's Go With The Flow on iPay-Per-View. The Gentleman's Club beat the American Destroyers. Joey Janela beat Chuck O'Neill. Shayna Baszler victorious over Penelope Ford. Massage Envy beat the Hit Squad. Wheeler Yuta beat Maxwell Jacob F, because we can't call him Feinstein. Depends what he wants to be called. I think he's been Friedman. He's been loads of other things. EYFBO beat the Carnies. Tabernacle Team victorious over Galleon and Rex Lawless. Ace Romero beat JG Dunn. AR Fox victorious over Brandon Watts. The Doom Patrol beat the Beaver Boys, and Matt Riddle beat Keith Lee to build up to Riddle versus Dijak, I think it is. Oh, sorry, it's Riddle versus Janela, I think. American Raw next month. The Evolve shows. Timothy Thatcher beat Austin Theory. ACH beat Chris Dickinson. This is Evolve 86, by the way. Then Blaster McMassive came out and said, I'm not Blaster McMassive anymore. I'm not a gatekeeper. I am Thomas Sharp. And Ethan Page says that he no longer cares about the gatekeepers, even though a gatekeeper then attacked Sharp from behind, who then jobbed to Sharp, as he's now known. Fred Yehai beat Yaka. Tracy Williams victorious over Jason Kincaid. Keith Lee beat Ethan Page. And then Zack Sabre Jr. beat Matt Riddle in a non-title match. But Overall, an okay-ish show from what I've heard. Evolve 87 from Sunday. So with this one, Tracy Williams beat ACH. Timothy Thatcher victorious over Jason Kincaid. Fred Yehai beat Chris Dickinson. Sabre Jr. retained the Evolve title against Yaka. Afterwards, Stokely Hathaway demanded that Sabre Jr. give Timothy Thatcher a title shot. And then Darby Allin showed up. And Thatcher said that Darby Allin didn't even consider him to be a professional wrestler, so ouch. Ethan Page beat Thomas Sharp, so that push has been killed off. Good job. Trent Beretta beat Austin Theory. And then Matt Riddle retained over Keith Lee in what was said to be a very, very good match. Afterwards, Ethan Page attacked both men, along with Tracy Williams and Stokely Hathaway as well. Tracy then announced he's challenging Matt Riddle for the August 12th show. Williams held Riddle in place so Stokely could slap him. And Keith Lee, I guess, made the save and they sort of fist bumped because overall, the actual 87 is a much better show than 86 from what I've heard. So go check that out. In terms of what's coming up this weekend, the only American show that's happening is Defy Wrestling up in Washington State. The Temple Theater in Tacoma and the Washington Hall in Seattle will be hosting shows this Friday. This Friday. Hang on. Oh, wow, this Thursday and Friday. So coming up tomorrow / today, I guess, because, well, if you're in Seattle, it's tomorrow still. But we've got Cody versus Penta. Wow. That'll be good. Red Dragon versus Ray Phoenix and Davey Boy Smith, as well as the Women's World Cup tournament featuring Angelina Love, Sue Young, Christina Von Eerie, and Nicole Matthews. Also on the card will be Davey Richardson, Strickland, Matt Cross, Darby Allin, Joey Ryan, and more. The Friday show in Seattle will have Red Dragon versus the Lucha Bros of Penta and Phoenix, which they were saying is like that's the first time it's happening. Problem is, Wrestle Circus just did it. Joey Ryan will be there. David Richardson, Strickland, David Wilson Jr., Angelina Love, Sue Young, Matt Cross, Darby Allin, and more. With the UK stuff, Preston City Wrestling are having an Academy night showcasing off some of the stars of the future as well as some of the main roster stars. I believe there may still be tickets available, but there may not be. The big match that they seem to have already said for that one is Philip Michael versus Martin Kirby. Southside Wrestling are having 3 shows over 2 days. So Saturday evening, they've got Nothing to Lose featuring Kip Sabian versus Bubblegum, Juventud Guerrera taking on Alex Gracie, HC Dyer versus Mikey Whiplash. Number 1 contenders match for the Speed King title, currently held by Davey Richards, with Flip Gordon, Ophidian, Chris Tyler, and Flash Morgan Webster. GBH put the tag titles up for grabs against Extra Talented and the Hunter Brothers in a triple threat. Tony Storm teams with Gabriel Kidd to face Kaylee Ray and Stevie Boy. Dan Maloney 1-on-1 with Jack Swagger. Soraya Knight taking on Mia Yim, and Joseph Connors versus BT Gunn for the Southside Heavyweight title. Then on Saturday, it's the double Summer Sizzler at Corporation in Sheffield. I think there's some still tickets for this one. So the afternoon show is Day of Reckoning 17. And they say we don't do B shows, and we can certainly say that because on this supposed B show, we've got Tony Storm versus Kaylee Ray, Mia Yim versus Damian Dunn, Mikey Whiplash versus El Ligero, Flash Morgan Webster and Kip Sabian, and a 6-way scramble with Robbie X, Bubblegum, Chris Ridgway, BT Gunn, Flip Gordon, and Chris Tyler. There might be other matches added, but that's all the ones I know. And then the afternoon into evening show is Morals Don't Pay the Bills, which has on it HC Dyer versus Big Grizzly, BT Gunn versus Flash Morgan Webster, GBH, the trio take on El Ligero, Bubblegum, and Gabriel Kidd. Chris Tyler one-on-one with Flip Gordon. Lana Austin teams up with a mystery partner, apparently, to take on Kaylee Ray and Stevie Boy. Ophidian one-on-one with Chris Ridgway. Tony Storm versus Mia Yim. And Mikey Whipwreck versus Joseph Connors. Rev Pro have a show this Sunday at the Cockpit. It is sold out, so don't try and get tickets. On this one, we've got Dan McGee and RJ Singh versus the London Riot, and Helico, Ryan Smile, and Max Voltage in a triple threat. Eddie Dennis taking on Sammy Callahan. Rob Lias versus Shea Samuels. Dave Mastiff taking on Donovan Dijak. And the 2 title matches for the undisputed British tag titles. CCK of Travis Banks and Chris Brooks defend against Curtis Chapman and Josh Wall. And Josh Bodom puts the Cruiserweight title up on the line against David Starr. And then finally, Progress, the Cologne show. 6 matches seem to be listed that are happening at the live music hall at Lichtstrasse in Cologne. Cologne. So on that one, we've got the Riots and Jimmy Havoc taking on Jack Sexsmith, Chuck Mamba, and Roy Johnson. Walter and Mike Bird go one-on-one to determine a number 1 contender to Matt Riddle's Atlas title. Ginny faces Laura Di Matteo. Isla Dragunov faces Travis Banks. Matt Riddle has the Atlas title on the line against Jörn Simmons. And in a non-title match, Pete Dunne takes on David Starr. I'm guessing if David wins, the title match might be the same night in order to pad out the card if they do decide to do it like that. So there you go. In about 3 hours, we've managed to do it. 3 and change.
All right, so that's your show tonight. I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. We'll be covering Slammiversary and the G1 shows from Long Beach for New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to be doing the Sunday show.
Nope.
I guess I could. I guess technically I could have both shows running because if you're attending it, I don't have to pay full attention to Slammiversary.
You are correct.
If I can see both, if not, I guess it will be Impact as default. But it honestly depends what gets announced for that Sunday show, because I'm guessing they normally announce cards even if it is the day after, or a few hours before. So I'll have to see.
Next Wednesday, back at 9 p.m. the normal time. That's going to be unless something changes, and we'll let you know if it does. Tomorrow, Sip and Snack Friday is going to be the return of AJ's movie reviews of, again, second week in a row, one of the best reviewed movies of AJ from this year, and that's Baby Driver. That's coming your way on Friday. Brandy Verse is coming this week, and who knows, maybe we might see Ashley this weekend. I guess we'll wait and see. Ashley, where can we find you on social media?
I am on Twitter at AshIsMyNameUK. The videos are going to be a bit different. I'm going to record a video early to go up at the start of the weekend to build up hype for the Games Done Quick, the Summer Games Done Quick marathon that starts Sunday. And goes on all week, and the E3 Nintendo thoughts and everything I will come up as usual on Monday, but I wanna get a video out to hype up that before all the Nintendo stuff, because that can just go and be there while you're watching people play really good games. I will say as well, if you are listening to this and you are interested, please watch the first one. Half Coordinated, who is a guy who, by illness, has only basically got proper control of one hand, at least for playing games, is going to be playing one-handed the just released earlier this year Nier Automata. I've been looking at his previous runs and prepping for this over the last couple of weeks, over the last day or so, and it's a really good run, I will say. So try and check that one out if you can, considering the next time I'll be speaking to you, that will have already happened, because I think it's opening at about midday Eastern, I think. Well, no, 1 Eastern, I think it is. It starts, because I think it's... Oh, no. Yeah, it's 1 Eastern that it actually starts with the pre-show of half an hour starting before. Because the calendar that it comes up with, you look at the website, lists it in your times. But I'll gush more about that in the video and some of the stuff that you should check out in terms of the runs, certainly.
So stay tuned the rest of the weekend and the rest of the week here at the Popcast Network for all your wrestling coverage, as well as your other original content. So that's going to be your show. Once again, follow me on Twitter at Ciro and Disney. Follow the network at Popcast Network. Check out our Facebook fan page at Popcast Network. And as always, in a world where there are a billion wrestling podcasts, we're very pleased that once more you have chosen a podcast. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening. And a programming note to everyone that's wondering where it is, the Versus anniversary, which I'm sure we're actually a couple weeks late on. It's going to be coming your way, I believe, this week. So a big time Versus coming your way. So until tomorrow, boys and girls, go out and buy your Bullet Club shirts at Hot Topic, whether online or in store. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
Am I at all that I actually fucking pre-ordered this SNES Mini? Probably.